Welcome to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Jimmy John's. Tonight, it's action from Deutsch Perry Stadium in Bowling Green, Ohio. It's the Bobcats of Ohio University taking on the Falcons of Bowling Green. Oh, and Maction got off to an awesome start last night in Toledo with Northern Illinois and the Rockets in a West Division battle, and Northern Illinois just wouldn't go away. They scored 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns, one on a spectacular catch, and then with about 2 minutes to go, Toledo up against it. Northern Illinois scores, and now they lead 32-27 with about a minute 45 left. The very next play from scrimmage, watch 45, Boomer Mays with a pick, and the Huskies refuse to lose, and this win throws Toledo out of the unbeaten ranks and throws the west of the MAC in utter chaos as Western Michigan now has the advantage there. But we are in the East tonight, where Bowling Green with the win would go to 5-0 and take a stranglehold on the MAC East. Hello again, everybody, from Bowling Green. I'm Dave Lamont, along with the Heisman Trophy winner and game day star Desmond Howard, and Quint Kesnick, who's on the sidelines double dipping in the MAC this week. What a gorgeous day here in Bowling Green. 64, a little bit of a breeze as they usually get here, but an outstanding evening and for an offense. This weather is laboratory perfect for Matt Johnson and this Bowling Green attack.
It really is, Dave. And Matt Johnson's a young man I'm really excited to see tonight. Matt Johnson leads the nation with 415 passing yards a game. He likes to go deep. He has 4 targets, spreads the ball around. He was hurt last year, missed most of the season with a hip injury. He can run the ball, too. This guy right here is a very exciting quarterback.
And he's got a lot of help. You don't get to do that by yourself. When you have a receiver like Roger Lewis, one of the very best in the nation, certainly a candidate for the Biletnikoff Award.
Yeah, Roger Lewis, number 1, 6'2", 200 pounds, solid guy, but he can fly, averaging 19 yards per catch. He can blow the lid off a defense. They normally play him out wide. I want to keep an eye on Roger Lewis because he's a game breaker, a game changer tonight.
But even then, Bowling Green has help. Besides Roger Lewis, take a look at this foursome. These guys with 40 catches or more.
Yeah, like I said, he has a receiving core that most quarterbacks would just beg for. They would love to have a guy like Ronnie Moore, slot receiver, very dynamic. Ryan Burbrink, too, he's in the slot. But then Garrick Dieter, this guy right there is about 6'3", can stretch the field, not as fast as Roger Lewis, but you still must respect what Dieter brings to the offense, too.
So it's going to be a tough night for a banged-up Ohio defense. They have a lot of injuries on that side of the ball, so guys like Ian Wells, who has the cornerback position, are going to have to maintain their lanes. Get ready. Quint's got more on Falcon Fast when we return to Bowling Green from action. Shockingly, Bowling Green has decided to take the football first. Why not when you have one of the most potent offenses that has its own hashtag, Falcon Fast? And for more on that, we go to the field and Quint Kesnick.
That is their mantra, head coach Dino Babers. This is an offense that operates at warp speed. They average 1 play every 20 seconds, and on average, they take 86 snaps per game. Both those rank in the top 3 nationally with teams like Baylor, Texas Tech, and Tulsa. That 101 snaps in their win against Maryland. Tempo is their 12th man, according to Coach Babers. 2 tendencies you'll see tonight. They love repeater plays. If they have success, they go right back to it. And when they're operating on the near hash tonight, look for them to go at warp speed, limited substitutions, and they will try to move that ball extremely fast, Dave.
And that is the brainchild of Dino Babers. Take a look at the head coach for Bowling Green. He's an Art Briles. He's actually had a tremendous coaching tree. That's been some of the guys he has learned from and has helped form this offense. It's one of the best in the country.
He really has, and we talked to him yesterday. I really appreciated his passion, his enthusiasm. Just a great coaches meeting yesterday with Coach Babers. And how about Frank Solich?
A veteran, former head coach in Nebraska. He once said, I want my next job after Nebraska let him go has got to be in a big city with a big airport. He winds up in Athens, Ohio, which has neither. He has been there 11 years and is one of the winningest coaches in MAC history. As a matter of fact, a win tonight would put him 4th all time. Who would he be passing? Deutsch Perry. What stadium are we in? Deutsch Perry. So good luck with that. It's going to be difficult for his Ohio team. They're kicking off Bowling Green in the distinctive brown and orange, and we are underway with Ronnie Moore. Going to watch that go sailing into the end zone at a touchback, and Matt Johnson will lead his offense out at the 25-yard line here at the Deutsch. And it looks like the breeze, which is usually an issue here, is going in favor of Ohio in this quarter. Johnson, a redshirt senior from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. We mentioned that last season he missed 13 games with a hip injury. He rehabbed like a maniac in the offseason. and kind of had to win the job over James Kanapke. You did very well, by the way, Kanapke, in the quarterback spot when Johnson got hurt.
Yeah, but Matt Johnson, the last 3 games, 78% completion rate, 15 touchdowns, only 1 INT. I mean, he's on fire. We talked about his receiving core. He loves to spread the ball around to his guys.
You see Lewis go in motion. Travis Green, number 8, is the tailback. And fake to Green, looking all the way toward Lewis, and wide open. The 30-yard line is going to be Garrick Dieter. That's catch number 41. It's going to be a gain of 9, very close to the mark. Tackled by Javon Johnson, number 51, in white and green.
Here they are moving at that warp speed. It's about the time you finish talking about a play, they're lined up to run another one.
Well, there's a little pitch to Green, and Johnson will tripped up, get 2 in the first down.
If Johnson can run the ball now, Coach said they don't like to run, especially what happened last year. They don't want to lose him, but they will use him a little bit in the running game. I was surprised to watch him run the ball this early in the series.
He does have 3 rushing touchdowns on the season. Now kind of a power set with a tight end in there and a quick play action fake. And that pass may have been intercepted. No, it's going to be ruled incomplete at the 41-yard line. That pass is Terrell Basham, number 93, got a paw on that one, and it was almost intercepted, so it'll be 2nd and 10.
That's going to be important for Ohio's defense tonight, especially up front. You got to get your hands up, because when Matt Johnson throws the ball, these little short routes, low trajectory on those passes, you can get your hands up and then create some turnovers. If you want to upset Bowling Green tonight, they're going to have to get some scores or some turnovers on defense.
It was Torrin Davis who had the opportunity from his safety position. We have an Ohio player shaken up on the far side of the field. Cannot get a clear read just yet on who it is. This is the last thing Ohio needs. They're missing Quentin Poling at the starting position at middle linebacker. That's Blair Brown, their leading tackler, who was the player being helped off the field. Watson Tatuaki not able to play at nose tackle. Kylan Nelson and Devin Bass lost as reserves in the secondary, and you're going up against this offense.
Yeah, they limped in here short-handed. They can ill afford to lose anyone else on defense.
This will be Green, and he will go nowhere. Boy, he got wrapped up by Casey Sales, the junior from Omaha, number 44. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Make it 3rd down and 10.
The Bowling Green will run the ball. We know they like to butter their bread with the passing game, but Travis Green is a guy who can go the distance anytime he has the ball in his hands, too. So they will show a lot of run early in the game.
You know, I think a lot of these teams that like to play fast and do love to run the ball. It's just not a perception the public has. Johnson's in a lot of trouble. Sales is going to slow him down, and he'll be finished off. A loss of 10. It was Basham and Sales that time, so both of them having a huge impact for the Ohio defense on this drive.
Which is really surprising to me, because you look at Bowling Green's offensive line, these guys have a combined 165 career starts. They're used to playing together. So to see the Bobcats get that type of penetration and to sack Johnson this early, pretty good for Jimmy Burrow, the defensive coordinator's defense.
Well, that's the 25th sack Bowling Green has given up. They do throw it a lot. You've got Daz Patterson. This left-footed kick got rocked. Patterson at the 24. Makes the first man miss, though. And he'll do a nice job. Got about a 13-yard return out to the 37-yard line following a 50-yard bullet punt from Joe Davidson. So we'll get our first look at the Ohio offense. And the quarterback, Darius Vick, had kind of a rough outing last week against Buffalo.
Yeah, last week he threw 3 interceptions. 2 of those 3 were pick sixes against Buffalo, but they said he had a great week of practice leading up to this game, and they think that he's going to bounce back against Bowling Green tonight.
Vick, 9 touchdown passes, 6 interceptions. Not a big scrambler. Due to sack yardage rules in the NCAA, he only averages barely under a half a yard per game. Sack yardage taken away from the quarterbacks in the rushing yard. And they'll go keeper, though, and right after we say he doesn't run the ball very much, of course you know he's going to. Picking up 4, 2nd and 6, and Trenton Green, a player you like a lot for Bowling Green on the stop. Yeah,
Trenton Green is a player that you got to keep your eye on tonight. But you know, one thing about Darius Vick, watch him. I'm surprised he kept the ball in that play, because he's coming back from an ankle injury. So I want to see if he's going to give the ball, if he's going to keep it on these option plays like he did in the first play.
And on the second play, and Vick will get a first down. And you know what? Maybe that's part of the strategy. Give Bowling Green something they haven't seen much of on film. As James Sanford, number 35, makes the stop, it'll be a first down for Ohio.
And that's what the defensive coordinator, Brian Ward, told us. Look at this, fake the pitch, run behind your offensive line. He said expect some surprises. These guys had 10 days to get ready for this game. He didn't know exactly how Ohio would come out offensively, but now I think he has a taste. They will run Darius Vick tonight.
is not a conch shell being blown, by the way, if you hear that on your TV screens, as Vic goes back to pass and overshoots Patterson, the intended receiver. Daz Patterson, the senior from the Tampa area, Plant City, Florida, was open in the middle of the field. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Daz Patterson right up the seam. This is a matchup that they love. They got the matchup that they were looking for. Vic just got to hit him in stride. That could have been a big gainer for the Bobcats.
Patterson, not a very big back either, not a huge presence like a tight end in there. He stands 5'7", 177. And he'll get the pitch out this time. Got a good block along the far sideline. He is going to be knocked out of bounds into Bowling Green territory following 7 by Clint Stevens. So here comes a big 3rd down and 3.
Patterson's a guy who they like to get out in space. He returns kicks, returns punts, and I think they just want to get him out on the perimeter tonight to see if they can stretch that Bowling Green defense and get them going a little east and west to see if they can get them tired a little bit.
A lot of substitutions prior to this play. Ohio will bring 3 closest to you. Vic, quick throw right in the middle of the field. That'll be a 1st down. A catch made by Jordan Reed, his 30th catch on the year. Redshirt junior from Stone Mountain, Georgia, moves the chains again for Ohio.
You know, that's important, Dave, for Ohio to keep the ball, eat up the clock. We spoke to the coaches last night. We know they're going to go a little up-tempo, not as fast as Bowling Green, but they know they must eat up the clock. But at the end of these drives, they got to come away with touchdowns because Bowling Green's offense, one of the best in the nation, averaging 43.9 points a game.
Kind of a power set here with a tight end in an H-back formation. I see Patterson shifting behind, and he will keep the football. Kind of ran into one of his own men. Good surge that time, only a 2-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd down and 8. I've seen a lot of different formations, too, from Ohio as we take a look at our first set of impact players.
Yeah, we have Olette, the running back, number 45. He also plays linebacker because they have so many injuries on defense. Then Sebastian Smith, the leading receiver of the Bobcats. And Trenton Green, he's the alpha male of Bowling Green's defense. And Alfonso Mack, he's had an interception in 3 straight games. Watch out for number 26.
Haven't seen Olette yet, number 45 at the tailback spot. It's unbelievable that he did go both ways in that loss to Buffalo at UB 10 days ago. Up the gut again goes Patterson. He just sort of disappears after about a 3-yard, maybe a 2-yard gain to the 37. Taylor Royster, a veteran lineman, a redshirt senior for the Orange and Brown in there on the stop. So now you got 3rd and about 7.
Yeah. I see A.J. Olette on the sideline, too. I'm really surprised that they're going with Daz Patterson so much and running him in between the tackles. Like you said, 5'7", only about 177 pounds. But this is the surprise of the offense that Brian Ward, the defensive coordinator for Bowling Green, told us about during our player meetings.
Ford to snap it. Vic scrambling a little bit. Well, that's a pretty sweet move, and he is going to be, I think, a little short. But it sets up, as Royster is credited with a stop. Desmond, I think you have to go for this. You've got 4th and not even a full yard, even if you have the wind at your back.
I agree with you, and I think that Frank Solich, they're going to bring some different personnel out there and go for it. I mean, you're on the road against Bowling Green. When you're going to have an opportunity like this to try to make a statement? I mean, they're here to win. We know they've been injured. They're a resilient ball club. I think right now he's going to show his guys, we have a lot of confidence in you. Let's go out there and get it done. 42%
on 4th down, but they've only hit 1 of their last 7. They go to Patterson, and I'm looking at the official on the far side, and I don't think they're going to give it to him. If I look at that official, if that's going to be the spot, they're short.
I mean, how can you not question that play call when you have a guy like A.J. Olette as a running back? He must be dinged up a little bit, because why would you run Daz Patterson up in the middle on 4th and short?
Especially with a lot of people bunched in there, too.
Exactly.
Bowling Green was anticipating a sort of a dive play, and their defense does hold.
He doesn't have the type of weight behind him where he can move a crowd. He can't move a pile. So to run Daz Patterson up in between the tackles on 4th and 1, kind of baffled by that play call.
So the center of the Bowling Green defense rises up. So on a night where we thought we'd get some offense early, of course we've not even played 6 full minutes. We have a 0-0 game as both defenses come up with big plays. I do think going for it was the right idea.
I agree with you.
You got to, you know, it's that you play to win the game, and
yeah.
you know Bowling Green is going to score. They average 44 points a game, rounding up. Right. 595 total yards per game on average, and they go out, and it's dropped by Dieter. Surprisingly, Garrick Dieter looks like he tried to run before he caught it. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, I agree with the decision, just not the play, especially with that personnel. You don't see Dieter miss many passes either, so that's surprising. But once they get into a rhythm, oh man, this offense is something to watch.
They want to get to 100 plays. They're 2nd in the FBS right now behind Tulsa. This will be Green, and he will fight through and pick up 4 to get 3rd down and 6. And oddly enough, the 2 co-coordinators who were here last year at Bowling Green are now at Tulsa. They've been replaced, and Dino Babers likes to go with co-coordinators.
Yeah, now he has Mike Lynch and Sean Lewis as the co-coordinators. They say it's coordination by committee because Coach Babers, he has a say in the play calling also.
He has a lot of say in the play calling.
That is very true.
Johnson going to take a shot.
One-on-one, you got to go to him.
Lewis and Wells, and it's going to be Lewis with a grab at the 23-yard line. They're going to mark him down to the 21, and a 1st down after a 44-yard pickup.
Anytime you see Roger Lewis one-on-one with any defensive back, and tonight it'll probably be Ian Lewis, number 41. He's going to shadow Lewis. You will see Matt looks to his left just to make the safety number 24 go that way so he can have a one-on-one shot for Roger Lewis down the field. We've seen that time and time again, game after game.
59 catches for Lewis. He's at 100 yards receiving in 4 straight.
And now you see why he averages 19 yards per catch.
He upped it there. It's a 2-yard gain for Green. And I'll tell you what, there was no safety back there. If Green breaks a tackle, he scores.
It was just a simple go route to Lewis down the right sideline. And Lewis, I saw Lewis before the game out there warming up, wearing goggles and some gold headphones. He said, come on out here, man. You can run some verticals. I said, I know I can. I just can't practice.
Nor do you want to.
Exactly.
As Wells makes the stop on Ryan Burbrink. We haven't even talked about him. Here's a first-team All-MAC performer from last year. And Burbrink comes up with the grab.
Burbrink is a really, really crafty slot receiver. Very difficult to catch for linebackers or nickelbacks to match up with number 17, Burbrink.
That moves the change, the 1st down from the 11-yard line. Here's Green, and nobody's going to touch him. Bowling Green is on the board. Well, this is not unusual. Every game this season except Maryland, Bowling Green has scored first.
There was a simple read option on the right end, number 92. And he just gave it to Green. He practically went in there untouched. Yeah. Green is one of those Florida kids. They call them the Florida Stick Boys. They call them the Florida Stick Boys. He said they could stick their foot in the ground and change direction instantly.
So Bowling Green, as you expect, taking advantage of their defense making a big play. Comes right back on Ohio to score. And they take the 7-0 lead in 6 plays, 69 yards, in a Bowling Green-like 1 minute and 39 seconds. Travis Green with his 5th rushing touchdown of the season. This week, College Game Day, built by the Home Depot, heads back to Tuscaloosa, Alabama for this huge matchup between 2 of the top 4 in the first college playoff standings. Reese, Kirk, yes, yeah. Lee Corso and the rest of the crew prep you for another full day of football like only they can do. It all starts Saturday at 9 Eastern on ESPN. Also streaming live on Watch ESPN. You've got banana pudding in your future, I understand.
Oh, my friend, you have no idea. I can't wait to get to Tuscaloosa. Yes, sir. Oh, man, I eat well down there. Well by, definition of I love what I'm eating. Not as far as healthy is concerned. But
yeah, but that's okay.
A trough of banana pudding.
I've never quite heard banana pudding described that way before.
Oh, you should see it, my friend.
I'd love to, man. This is Robbie Walker at the 6-yard line. Gets a good block from Patterson, and he'll go up the middle of the field to about the 29-yard line. That's a 24-yard pickup. So Patterson at 5'7", 160, sticks his nose in. Let's get down to the field and Quint.
Dave, you plug in tape of Darius Vick, Ohio quarterback from years past, and you see a lot of explosive runs, a real hop between the tackles. He's been battling a nagging ankle injury since the Minnesota game and really struggled in his last outing. Threw 3 picks, 2 for pick 6s, and during that last Bowling Green possession, he actually taped up his right ankle with some black tape. So clearly not 100%, and already maybe that ankle injury is a factor.
Yeah, and also we're going to see some J.D. Sprague tonight, too, the backup quarterback for Ohio. Meantime, A.J. Olette is in the game now, number 45 at tailback. Play action to him. Vic forced out of the pocket. Got a little room on the run. High throw, and that was a beautiful catch at the 43-yard line. The grab made by Sebastian Smith. A gain of 13 and a first down.
That's a great job by their leading receiver, Sebastian Smith, to just stay with the quarterback, read the quarterback's eyes, making sure he has enough room on the sideline and going up high. Excellent vertical, catching the ball at its highest point.
And Ohio,
really catch.
They're trying to play fast, but it's stuffed. The sack by number 33, Taylor Royster, and also Mike Minns, number 54. That's a loss of 8. It'll be second and 18.
Royster, a former walk-on. He's one of the guys up front that they really depend on to rush the quarterback and to stop the run. So keep an eye on number 33.
He's a veteran. He's been around. He's one of those guys that other schools like, is he still here?
Yeah, no, exactly right. He's still on the roster. Well, he's like a 6-year senior.
Yeah. Well, Ohio had with Bo Blankenship, the tailback. Seemed like he played at Ohio for about 15 years before Solich even got there. It's weird not seeing him out there in the green and white as Vic, under pressure, guns it. And there's Smith again with a grab at the 44. That gets back some of that sack yardage and more. It'll be 3rd and 9.
Smith again showing you why he's the leading receiver on this team, averaging 12 yards per catch, and he's catching the ball with his hands. You can see he has excellent hands. A really good target for Darius Vick. The guy he relies on, especially when he gets in the jam, he's going to look for number 6, Sebastian Smith.
Came into the game with 40 catches. He's picked up a couple already on this drive, but it's 3rd and 9. Bowling Green's going to rush 3, drop the rest into coverage. Vic's got a little running room. Olette with a big block. Long throw there, Smith. He came back to the football and then gets the first down. What an intelligent play to pick up 11, and Ohio moves the chain.
Dave, you hit it on the head. He came back to the ball. He saw his quarterback in trouble, back there scrambling around, did a good job coming back to the ball to make sure he got the completion.
And then he's shaken up on the Bowling Green medical staff. Very quick out there to help him out.
He's looking back. He sees the quarterback's in trouble. He comes back to make sure that Bowling Green's defender did not intercept the ball. Really heads-up play by Sebastian Smith.
And while the trainers take a look at him, we'll step aside with Ohio on the move.
ESPN College Football is presented by Jimmy John's Freaky Fast Sandwiches and in part by Cadillac.
The enthusiastic bunch here in Bowling Green and a gorgeous, gorgeous Ohio evening. Let's take a look back at what happened to Sebastian Smith.
And when Smith came back for the ball, he got sandwiched in between Denard Turner, number 18, and Alfonso Mack, number 26, and number 19, Brandon Harris. It looks like he's going to be okay. I expect him to come back into the game.
Happy to see that. He's got his helmet back on. He's ready to roll. In the meantime, though, Ohio's going to have to go at least one play without him. But they are moving along now. Darius Vick, 4 out of 5, 37 yards. You heard Quint and Desmond both mention his struggles last week on a rainy day at UB. On the option, late pitch to Olette. Vick got belted, but Olette does the hitting too. That's about an 8, maybe 7-yard pickup before Tyler Hardy runs him out of bounds. Second down coming up and short.
Yeah, the Falcons' defensive coordinator, Brian Ward, told us that they didn't know what to expect offensively. We've seen a lot so far from the Bobcats offense. He's just an option, pitches it late, really good pitch by the quarterback, and Olette. Now we're finally seeing Olette in the game. We wondered where he was during the first series. There he is right there.
And he will squirt through some tackles and get a first down. He was stopped at the 35 and picked up 5 additional yards for a gain of 8 and a first down. Well, both these teams had 10 days to get ready for this game, so part of it is just getting guys healthy, and the rest of it is maybe putting in some new things that have not popped up on the film. And Vick with a great job on that keeper. Rolled for 3. If Olette had the ball, he would have gained nothing.
On that previous play with A.J. Olette, the way he broke those tackles, that's what you expect from number 45 when he's back there at the running back position. That's why I was so surprised during that first series. They had Daz Patterson running in between the tackles and decided to use him and not Olette on that 4th and 1 play where they did not get the first down.
Sebastian Smith has returned. He's tucked into the right side of the line on the far side of your screens. top side of your screens, I should say. Now Ouellette bails out of the backfield, and Ohio will go empty on first down. Vick, flush, has some room, and takes a dive rather than take a hit. I don't blame him for that. He'll get out to the 22. He'll pick up 8, and it'll be 2nd down and 2. So I'm seeing way more running out of Vick than I thought.
You and me both. I'm really surprised that Coach Alvin, the offensive coordinator, has decided to run Vick as much as he has so far. But I guess, he's sending a message to Bowling Green's defense. This is a guy who you got to count for in our running game, too. And if he doesn't like something that he sees down the field, he'll tuck it and run it with the quickness. So number 15 is a guy. I think he's going to force Brian Ward to put a spy out there to keep an eye on Vick just in case he starts to run in passing situations.
That's Walker cutting across in motion. Little fade pattern looking for Smith. Makes the grab. Flag is down. And it's waiting for the touchdown signal. And I didn't see a touchdown signal.
Well, I tell you what, number 2, Clint Stevens came up with the ball. He came up with the ball. Sebastian did not catch that ball.
Well, let's see what the flag is all about first before Bowling Green celebrates the interception.
There was some contact. I figured it was on Stevens.
Yep, it is. Kurt Johnson is the referee. So scratch the interception, and it'll be 1st down and 10 for Ohio. Let's take a look at where Stevens came up with this football.
Soon as Sebastian thought he caught it, he actually was trapped between the two, and Stevens had the presence of mind to hold on to it. But it was a little hand fighting before the ball came down, so pretty good call. That was a PI. Plus, he never really looked back for the ball either.
And the officials moving the football to the 7-yard line. So a quick conversation between Vick and our officiating crew leader, Kurt Johnson, and we're ready to go. 1st and goal for the Bobcats at the 7-yard line. Only 1 touchdown given up by the Falcons defensively in the last 7 quarters. You don't think of them as a great defensive team, but they've been hot the last 2 weeks. Ouellette on the carry. Make it 2 touchdowns. He romps in from 7 yards. That whole line collapsing the Bowling Green front, and it's 7-6.
And Ouellette at 5'10", 195. Not a guy you see hit the edge and get around the corner too often, but he went in, didn't like what he saw, bounced it out around the left side of the offense. Easy touchdown for the Ohio Bobcats, and that's a way to respond on the road too.
And a lot of that damage done on the ground. The big play, of course, the pass interference penalty.
Yeah.
Josiah Yazdani has not missed a PAT in his career, and he is now 85 for 85. So Ohio showing Bowling Green that maybe they can run with him after all. The blocking on this play superb, and Ouellette scores for the 3rd time this season. We've got another big college football Saturday ahead of us this weekend, which means it's time for you to use Watch ESPN. Stream every game live. Download the app or go to watchespn.com. You can catch up. You never know what play you're going to see, what dramatic moment in college football this year. We've only had about 100 of them.
You're right
there
about
you
that.
take. That looks painful. It's necessary, I guess, for Ouellette, but painful.
Yeah, it looks like they're working on his hamstring. Maybe he's a little tight. Maybe that's why he wasn't in the first series of the game.
No, he didn't look it on that touchdown run.
No, he
7
did not.
yards. He got going there. Got the top speed very quickly. Scott Miller, Ronnie Moore awaiting the kickoff. Moore, number 5. And is he going to get a chance? I don't think so. He's just about backed up into the athletic center here.
You're not kidding.
Let's check in with Quint.
Dave, you mentioned the bye week earlier. Both these teams haven't played in 10 or 11 days. And right now, my sense for Bowling Green is they were humming going into the bye week. They had won 4 straight games in the MAC. I haven't seen the rhythm and the precision that we typically see of this offense and of this group in general. Conversely, Ohio, Frank Solich, prior to the bye, said we're floundering. They're not floundering anymore. They've put the bye week to work in terms of getting healthy and getting sharp.
Yeah, I agree, Quint, especially on the offensive side. Very impressed with Darius Vick, very impressed with the game plan to run him a little bit more. Now Johnson, shoulder shake on one side, under pressure, gets off a contested throw, and pressure that time being put on by Brandon Purdom, number 95. It'll be 2nd and 10.
And I was surprised that he came off of Roger Lewis so quick. Roger ran a comeback, and he had the defensive back beat. He was wide open, but I don't know, Johnson saw something that he didn't like and went to his left.
Where Purdom was waiting. There's a handoff to Fred Coppett. A running back out of the Fort Lauderdale area. Coppett gets shoved back after a 4-yard pickup by Javon Johnson. Coppett went to that powerhouse, St. Thomas Aquinas, in Fort Lauderdale. One of the stick guys, as we talked about.
Yes, he's a Florida stick kid. They call his nickname is Box because his dad used to box, and Fred's a junior, so just pass the name down. So Fred Coppett, I may refer to him tonight as Box.
3rd and 6. Empty set here. 5 receivers in the pattern. Pressure coming from the edge. Johnson guns it to Lewis right in the middle of the field. There were 3 defenders around, and it didn't matter. 1st down, Jones on the stop.
And Lewis did not let the ball bring him inside. He stopped, and then he reached out with his hands and plucked it so that he can bring it in and protect himself because he knew defenders were all around. Watch how he stopped, snatches it out the air. What a catch by Lewis.
Coppett on the carry, finds a spot off the tackle. He'll break into Ohio territory and drag down at the 43-yard line after a 16-yard pickup. Devin Jones and Brett Layton on the stop. The problem is those are defensive backs as we come up to the 2-minute mark in this opening quarter.
There's Box. He's one of the Florida stick boys. He can put that foot in the ground and go north and south, get up the field real fast.
And Bowling Green now playing really fast as Dieter makes the catch along the far side. And you notice they are on that left hash that's farther away from their sideline. Quint mentioned earlier that they like to go really fast when they're a little bit closer. This is still fast. 2nd and 2. Coppett checks out. He'll go to the near sideline. Looking that way. He's the intended receiver. And he is hit right away at the marker, but I think he's going to get the 1st down to the 32-yard line. Ohio was ready for him that time.
Another one of the Florida stick boys. They're making a little noise earlier in this game.
You got speed, you got to use it.
No doubt about that. When you bring kids from Florida up here to Ohio, it's because you want to use their speed. Trust me.
Now they're on that near sideline. Johnson with the sluggo fake. Now he thought he was going to take off. He finds Lewis instead, and Lewis with a nice little scamper down the sideline. Let's see where they mark him out. They're going to say he was out at around the 29-yard line. That's a 4-yard pickup, 2nd down and 6.
Last time, and they're not in the red zone yet, but the last time Bowling Green was in the red zone, they scored a touchdown. That was their 20th touchdown out of their last 21st trips to the red zone. So once they get in the red zone, these guys, they don't think field goals. They think touchdowns.
And the game stopped momentarily as Fred Coppett was trying to leave the game and just stopped. Now he gets a little assistance. So he will check out. Travis Green will come into the game, number 8. But another Floridian out of Pace High in the Carroll City, Miami area. Not far from where the Miami Hurricanes and Miami Dolphins play. Clock running again, down to about 1:10 as Johnson gets a high snap under pressure, and he just throws it into the ground. Green was nearby, so it will not be intentional grounding. But Ohio is getting a pass rush tonight.
Yeah, and Blair Brown, number 3, the leading tackler for the Bobcats. He snuffed that one out. He knew it was coming, so there was nothing there. So Johnson did the smart thing, throw the ball onto the ground, live to see another down.
Take a look at Brown, leading tackler for Ohio. Johnson working out of the empty set again. Now slowing it down a little bit. Play clock at 8. Play clock down to 3. Pressure up the middle. Oh, it's a beautiful tunnel screen set up, and the official gets in the way. That's going to happen. The official is part of the field. If Ronnie Moore doesn't run into the umpire, he's gone.
There's no doubt about that. Ronnie Moore is a guy who's very dynamic. He's a slot receiver. He can put that foot in the ground and go north to south. But that official saved the touchdown for the Ohio Bobcats.
Bob Holcomb is the umpire, and we so fast Bowling Green goes, we couldn't even get a chance to show you the whole play. That'll be 4 yards very quickly. Holcomb is okay, by the way. He bounced right back up, and we were able to play.
You look at this screen right here. This is out the gate for Ronnie Moore. Blockers in front, but the blockers didn't count the official. And that guy, like you said, Dave, he's part of the field, so you got to work your way around him.
On the 11th play of the drive, a little shovel pass into traffic, and that play diagnosed to Derek Lee, the tight end. Quint, what do you got?
down in the red zone, you'll see these Bowling Green receivers, the wide ones, outside the numbers. What that does is it pulls not only the corners wide, but the safeties wide out of the middle, and their run game here is always dangerous.
Yeah, it already has been once, and it's going to be twice, Quint, because Green is going in the end zone for the second time tonight with 1 second left in the quarter.
So I guess that's 21 for 22 trips in the red zone, touchdowns. And like we said, Green is a guy who really crafty runner in between the tackles. He has a lot of speed. He can hit the edge too, but he's a tough guy from Carroll City, Florida. And they will run the ball. I know the passing attack is very potent, but don't sleep on Bowling Green's running game.
And a big block from 55, Alex Huddle from his right guard position. Huddle making his 50th straight start. This Bowling Green line, 165 combined starts, second best in FBS. So with a tick left on the clock, Bowling Green has taken the lead back. We're going to have another great action night like we did last night. Sure looks like it. Coming into this game, Ohio had only allowed 20 points total in the first quarter. They'd given up 14. They had not allowed a first quarter touchdown until last week's game, the loss to Buffalo. And there you see, with a second to go, Bowling Green enjoying the 7-point edge. Walker and Patterson back deep again. Travis Green with 2 rushing touchdowns tonight. So it's been the ground game of Bowling Green as much as their vaunted passing attack and Matt Johnson that has put the Falcons in front.
There's Travis Green, one of my impact players, and he's making his presence felt early in this game.
Kicking into the wind. Doesn't seem to matter. That's a pretty good kick. Patterson at the 5. Setting up his blocks. And he'll get out to the 22-yard line, and that'll be the end. What was a very solid opening quarter. Bowling Green leading this one 14-7. A Falcons win puts them 5-0 and in charge of the MAC East. Ohio trying to keep them within screaming distance. Second quarter about to begin. Wednesday night action. We have 4 action games for you next week on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. We picked it off last night with a fabulous game in Toledo. And we're what, half-hour drive away from Toledo. Bowling Green, Deutsch Perry Stadium, Dave Lamont, Desmond Howard, Quint Kesnick with you, and delighted you could join us for Wednesday night in action. 14-7 Bowling Green in front, but Ohio has the football. Daz Patterson back in at tailback, and they're at their own 22-yard line. Give to Patterson, running on the short side of the field. Look at this burst on Patterson. Well, he is also a Florida. And they don't call him a Florida stick boy at Ohio, but James Sanford saved possibly a touchdown or at least an even larger gain than 24 yards.
Yeah, Patterson does a good job at 5'7", just hiding behind the pulling lineman and then popping through with that little burst that he has. That's why he's in the backfield for plays like that. Off the edge, you want to get him around the corner, but running him between the tackles, I wouldn't do that much against this defense.
Fake to him there, and Vic's just going to take off. He'll get to midfield, and down he goes on his own accord. Picks up a solid 6, though. It will be 2nd down and 4 if you're just joining us. We are seeing a lot more of Darius Vic as a running quarterback than we anticipated.
I think that's a new wrinkle for Tim Albin, the offensive coordinator. He wanted to try to attack the defense with his running quarterback. Knowing that everyone read in the papers about Vic being hurt and hampered by an ankle injury. Probably didn't anticipate running Vic as much. The defense didn't, especially Brian Ward. They're going to have to make some adjustments, Bowling Green's defense, because Vic is really killing the defense with his legs.
So off the first down run. It'll be Patterson again, and this time, although he's fighting for an additional inch or two, Mike Minns, number 54, who weighs considerably more, 150 pounds more than Patterson, just stopped him cold. 2nd down and 7 coming up. Mike Minns going to check out of the game.
You see Ohio, they're going no huddle, but they're still doing it at a respectable pace because they want to chew up this clock. 14-7, they're able to move the ball. They're feeling really confident about themselves right now.
Vick on the keeper, and he's going to be chased out by Royster. He might have gotten a yard. Royster was not fooled that time, and Vick just couldn't get to the corner fast enough with Royster in pursuit. They're going to give him a couple. Here comes a 3rd down and 4.
When you see Vick run, when he's done running, he's jogging back to the line of scrimmage. He got a little giddy up in his hitch. He doesn't seem like he's in full stride. That right ankle is very heavily taped with that black tape. So you know that he does have an injury, but he's out there gutting it out in a big game for the Bobcats.
Quint mentioned earlier that he's already had that ankle looked at, Vick, and it may be a constant theme this evening. With 2 to snap, Vick straight drop back, off the back foot. What a grab at the 29-yard line by Sebastian Smith. 1st down, Ohio.
Like I said earlier, Sebastian Smith has excellent hands. He has an incredible range of catching the ball. No matter where you throw the ball, as long as it's near him, he's going to pluck it out of the. That's just an incredible catch right there, Dave.
Not much on that play there. Smith on a bubble screen, and Bowling Green sees that play in practice a lot, so they stuffed that as Ouellette came back in out of the game, number 45 at the tailback spot as well. So 2nd down and 10 here in the opening drive of the 2nd quarter for Ohio. Yeah, the pace is so much different when Ohio has the football. It's so noticeable compared to, and they're still playing at a reasonable clip, as you mentioned, but yeah, this isn't even close to the difference. Option. Vick, shoulder shake, keeps it. He bursts through. Vick will get inside the 15, down to about the 10 before Trenton Green dragged him down. Tremendous run for Vick. His longest run of the year, 17. He just beat that with an 18-yard run.
Yeah, Vick is option off the left end. He sees something he likes. He hits the crease. And he still has enough burst in his tank to get north and south, even with that bad right ankle. What a performance by Vick so far in this 1st half.
It makes you wonder what would happen if he was completely healthy.
Exactly.
A bunch formation at the top of your screen. This will be Patterson, and he'll get a yard, maybe 2 to the 10-yard line. Austin Valdez, leading tackler out of that middle linebacker position, number 16 in the orange and brown, and there on the stop, and he had some help. Looked for a moment like Ohio was trying to replicate the same plays that have worked with Travis Green for Bowling Green.
Right.
Didn't.
No, not with Patterson. Patterson is such a small player back there. I mean, I would like to see him get out there on the edge a little bit. Running him in the red zone in between the tackles, I don't think is the way to try to get the ball into the end zone.
63% success in the red zone for touchdowns coming in, as that is Jordan Reed going in motion to the left of the slot. And it's Patterson, and he'll get to the 5, maybe the 4-yard line before he is belted down by Clint Stevens. So Ohio running the ball very well, puts him in a 3rd down and 2.
Really good job by the right side of the offensive line. Those guys are getting a push up the field, creating just little creases because Patterson is only 5'7". He doesn't need a lot of room, a lot of space, and he can make his body small to get through any little crease that the offensive line can make.
So Patterson remains the tailback on 3rd down and 2. Vick peeking over at the sideline. Got 1 to snap it. Like he got it off. Pitch to Patterson. He'll chase to the edge, and he'll get in. Touchdown, Daz Patterson. So that time, in short yardage, they went wide with him.
It makes perfect sense to me because Daz Patterson is a fast running back. He's a guy who can get to the edge, and I don't know if there's anybody on Bowling Green's defense that can get out there as fast as Daz Patterson. Really good play calling.
Play will be double checked by the replay team to make sure, but it looks like it's going to hold up. So that drive right there is exactly the formula that Frank Solich wants for his team.
Yeah.
That's about a 5-minute drive.
Exactly.
4 minutes, 57 seconds. It took up the beginning third of the 2nd quarter. 11 plays and 78 yards. So for Ohio, they're hanging in right now with one of the most explosive teams in the country, and they're doing it the old-fashioned way, on the ground. Akron went. The last two were. Second quarter about to begin or continue, I should say, and there seems to be an issue with the clock. And we'll try to get an idea of what it is. We have 10:03 on the main clocks here at the scoreboard here at Deutsch Perry Stadium in this 14-14 second night of the opening week of midweek action. Of course, the conference has been going at it for a little while already, and will continue to do so tomorrow night, including Ball State, Western Michigan, and now all of a sudden the Broncos have the edge in the West with that Northern Illinois win over Toledo last night. Frank Solich noticed something about the clock he didn't like, but he seems to be satisfied with it now, and he certainly has to be satisfied with the way his team has run the football.
He has to be. Coming into tonight's game, Ohio Bobcats only scored 3 in their last 7 trips to the red zone. So far tonight, they're 2 for 2.
And they've done it at the pace that they prefer.
Exactly.
Particularly considering the opponent, and as Quint mentioned at the top of the show, Falcon fast. Here's a funky-looking kick and scooped up on the Bote Pronto at the 25-yard line and out to the 37-yard line. So good field position for Bowling Green as Hunter Folk Urtsema in there to rev it as we get to Quint.
Dave, you want to talk some timing? Well, Ohio, 2 touchdown drives. One was a 4-minute drive, the other was a 5-minute drive. You referenced the difference in the feel of this game when each team's operating on offense. Bowling Green has typically snapped the ball with about 25 seconds to go on the play clock, and Ohio is about 10 seconds slower. So they're snapping the ball around 15, sometimes 12. They're not in a rush, they're taking their time, they're keeping their defense fresh.
And keeping that potent offense led by Matt Johnson, who tonight has thrown to 6 different receivers, 9 caught for 100 yards, and he's got an empty backfield. Travis Green, his running back, check out to the far side. Johnson stepping in, and he will find Garrick Dieter, who makes one man miss. Good footwork by Dieter. He'll be very close to the mark, but appears to be about a yard short. 2nd and 1 coming up.
I think Bowling Green want to get that passing game going now. They see there's a little bit of a dogfight. Ohio's not going anywhere, so I think they want to get the passing game into some sort of rhythm.
Quick throw, middle of the field, caught, first down to the 45-yard line by Ryan Burbrink.
See, that's when the Falcons are at their best. When they can get the passing game going, get the tempo up, and then score points, that's when they're at their best.
And they're not substituting either, so after a few more plays, that Ohio defense may be gassed, and that's when you can really jump on them. Staying with that empty backfield set, Johnson being flushed out, scrambling, and he better get rid of it, and he does.
Really good job by the Bobcats defense. Great coverage down the field.
We have a flag down, but it's at the 42-yard line. So we'll see. Johnson got hit by Terrell Basham, who's played pretty well for the Bobcats, but there's a couple of things this call could be, and they're looking at Frank Solich for a decision. The referee tonight is Kurt Johnson, an eligible man downfield. That's a call I'm surprised we don't see more often given some of these attacks. And in this case, I think just because that whole play broke down, it's not that surprising.
Right.
Ineligible receiver downfield, offense. Number 55. That penalty's declined. 2nd down.
You know, because at one point during that scramble, the offensive lineman probably thought that Johnson was about to run the ball because he stepped up, but then he did a circle and came back, and at that point it's probably too late. So he's confusing his lineman by the way he's scrambling back there in the backfield.
Green staying in this time to block, and he pops back out to catch the screen, but man, Ohio was waiting for him, and he was stood up by Jovan Johnson, and then Johnson got help. That'll be a loss of 3, 3rd down and 13.
Yeah, Jovan Johnson is another player who's out there with an ankle sprain, but he's really tough, gutting it out. The coaches say he's a guy who's very fast. You'll see him going from sideline to sideline. Keep an eye on number 51.
3rd and long, pressure up the middle. Johnson escaped it somehow. I have no idea how he got out of that, and he'll get a first down. That's Moore with an intelligent run, and Moore to the 15, to the 10. It's a breakaway. Touchdown, Bowling Green.
Florida stick boy. He's one of the impact players we talked about at the beginning of the game. He's really a dynamic slot receiver. They love to get him the ball in space. He's fearless. He can pluck the ball with guys around him and still run full speed. Excellent job by Johnson, ducking out of that sack, or would-be sack. And then the rest is all Ronnie Moore.
Kurt Lasik, number 99, had a clean shot coming up the middle on a stunt and could not get it. And somehow Johnson was able to get that off. And Moore was waiting right at the first down marker. In the meantime, it's Johnson who's having a hard time getting off the field. And we talked about an ankle injury, and he does appear to be favoring his left leg. And Johnson had a shot at Moore also and could not get him. But Moore, such a dynamic playmaker, a junior from Sanford, Florida. That's in the Orlando area. And as Johnson still having a tough time getting off the field, he hasn't even quite made it to the Ohio sideline. But that electrified this Bowling Green crowd. 5 plays, 63 yards in a minute and 37 seconds. And that's Falcon Fest.
Yes, it is. That's what they like to do. They start to hit that rhythm in the passing game. And, you know, once you can get Moore out there in space and just get the ball in his hands, he's really an excellent runner with the ball out in space.
That was Matt Johnson's NCAA best 30th touchdown pass. Oh, a doinker on the PAT. Now make a note of that. No good. 20-14. A miss by Tyler Tate. His second missed PAT of the season. But don't miss this. A tremendous escape by Matt Johnson and Ronnie Moore into the end zone one more time.
Brought to you by Bodman Body Sprays and sexy scents she loves. What you spray on stays on.
You know, 70-some-odd degrees during the day here. You could pull off that look. I guess you can pull off that look if you have those kind of muscles anyway, whether it's in the 50s or 70s. That is Moore, who made that spectacular touchdown dive off the pass from Matt Johnson, his NCAA best 30th. Not sure why the pads are off, however.
We need to get Quentin on that.
Well, it looks like the pads are coming back on. I'm not sure, but yeah, Quint will be on that in a moment. Patterson and Walker for Ohio, back deep.
Maybe he needed to cool off because he was on fire on that run right there.
Or show off.
Took his pads off, to cool off and show off. Don't let our Quint take his jacket off down there, I tell you that.
I've never heard a guy say, yeah, I worked out. I could have worked out longer, but I didn't. He was worried about his parking pass expiring. That'll be a touchback. The wind tonight, which is often a factor here at the Doit, now in favor of Bowling Green. So Ohio will take over with Darius Vick, number 25. Now, we were told before the game to look for J.D. Sprague at quarterback, but it hasn't happened yet. If you're Ohio, no matter who the quarterback is, you're looking for Sebastian Smith.
Yeah, he's been the playmaker for them tonight with some just fantastic, excellent catches, using his hands, making sure that he's in the vision of Darius Vick. Every time Vick scrambles or moves around, he's really bailed Vick out on some plays. Sebastian's shown great ability to catch the ball no matter where it is in the air.
So A.J. Olette comes back in number 45 at tailback. Just to finish up on Vick, the way he's playing right now, doubtful we'll see J.D. Sprague in there. They wanted to give Sprague a little bit of work, but Vick has played extremely well. Fake to Olette. Vick going to take off. Oh, what a sweet move to make a man miss, and he's going to have to take his medicine there. No gain on the play. As you can see, Trenton Green, one of the impact players that Dez identified before the game, and getting a little bit of help, flushing him down.
Yeah, Coach Ward said that for them to play well on defense, that they need a big game out of Trenton Green. He's the alpha male on defense, the toughest guy on the team. He said that's undisputed. Everyone understands it. And he's a guy who they need to play big in order for them to be able to have a chance to win this game.
And another Florida guy. It's unbelievable how many Florida players these teams scoop up. Everybody goes to Florida. That's Smith right there. He needs a block. He'll get one, and that's all. And he gets ganged up. No gain yet again. Sanford in there, number 35.
And watch number 12, Jordan Reed for Ohio, the Bobcats, holding on that play. They're going to have to bring that one back. I mean, he practically tackled the defensive back. He had such a hold on number 2, Clint Stevens, I really couldn't see his number at the time.
Holding offense, number 12.
So will you take 3rd and 10? Yep, that's what they're going to do. They're going to take 3rd down and 10. An energetic series so far. The fruit plays for the Bowling Green defense.
Yeah, Clint Stevens is a very aggressive defensive back. He read that play instantly, tried to come up, and Reed's only hope was to grab him and hold him to make sure he didn't make the tackle.
Ohio 4 out of 5 on 3rd down, but this is the toughest one they've had so far. Five to snap. Blitz. Vic on the run. Receiver came back. And the catch is made, but I don't think he's going to get the first down. He's going to be considerably short. Sebastian Smith. We've seen some really intelligent receiver play from both receiving corps tonight.
Yeah, 2 really good receiving corps we have in this ball game. And Sebastian Smith, like I said, he's the bailout guy. Anytime that Darius Vic gets in trouble, those 2 are always on the same page.
Ryan Burbrink receiving the punt or waiting for it at the 30-yard line. He's counting to make sure he's got everybody. Ohio, in the meantime, while Burbrink was doing his count, is running off a player because they had too many. They've got 6 to get it off here for Mitch Bonstetter. They better hurry. 3, 2. They're going to have to take a timeout. Now let's count. I count 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I count 10.
First team timeout, Ohio.
You're right.
Yeah, they only had 10, so they actually outsmarted themselves. They had a guy run on late, and then somebody ran off.
Yeah.
So a surprising confusion from a Frank Solich-led team, and they take a timeout. We got a magical doubleheader for you on ABC at 3:30 Eastern. Number 1 Clemson takes on 7-1 and 16th ranked FSU, presented by Kay Jewelers. And at 8 o'clock Eastern, we've got Ohio State, the number 3 team in college football, hosting Minnesota at the Shoe, presented by Walmart. Both games will be streaming live on Watch ESPN. Dave Lamont, Desmond Howard, Quint Kesnick here at the Doit. Action on a Wednesday night. Bowling Green in front of Ohio, 6:18 to go till halftime, and Ohio does have 11 men on the field now, and they'll get off the punt.
That's bad when that costs you a timeout like
Look
that.
out here! The punt was partially blocked. There will be no penalty. The punt was touched by Bowling Green, and they will take the football over at the 42-yard line after a 13-yard punt. Antonio Sololongo, a freshman from Gulliver Prep in Miami, got a piece on that punt.
To add injury to insult, they didn't have enough players on the field, so they had to call a timeout. Coming out of a timeout, you get your punt blocked. Oh, that's just a bad look for Frank Solich's team right now. Bad look.
Now make that 21, not 22. Scott Miller, a wide receiver. And Miller ends up getting that. You see the Bowling Green players getting out of the way. And Miller with a huge special teams play. That is unusual to see coming off of a timeout. So from the 43-yard line now, Matt Johnson. Do they take a deep shot right away?
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
And they don't. They hand it off to Coppett instead, and he'll move the pile and create a first down. Gain of 12.
Well, give it to one of the Florida Stick boys, Box, and let him carry it for 12 yards.
And we're going to get a false start penalty here. Looked like the right tackle, Logan Dietz, was a little quick.
False start, offense, number 53, 5-yard penalty, first down.
So the first down and 15 for Dino Babers' Bowling Green Falcon Fast team. Trying to go. Last time they were 5-0 in the MAC was 2003, and they have won 16 straight against the Eastern Division. Johnson, little pressure. He hangs in there, throws into a crowd, and that is going to be Teo Redding, number 9, with his first grab, gain of 8. Got back some of the penalty yardage. It'll be second down and about 7.
Hey, Johnson doesn't have a problem spreading the ball around, getting the ball into the hands of the playmakers. That's why you have 4 guys, 4 receivers with 40 catches or more on this team.
And Johnson hung in there and got rid of it. Burbrink inside the 10 to about the 9-yard line. It's an 18-yard pickup. And the other thing, these guys are open.
Well, they're wide open. I mean, they're going to find holes in this defense. There's just too many talented receivers to cover all of them. But Johnson is such a brilliant quarterback, he's going to find the open guy.
And he has gotten hot, too. After a little bit of a slow start, he's beginning to deal it. Now he'll slow it down a little bit and maybe change the play.
Coach Lewis, the offensive coordinator, told us about how just competitive Johnson is and how he's a guy who's always studying film, always trying to get better.
Going to throw the fade pattern for Dieter. Corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Bowling Green. Garrick Dieter with the reception, the redshirt junior from South Bend.
Dieter is 6'3", just put it up there and watch how he plucks it out the air. Great hands. His left foot like it was down. I think that's going to stand as a touchdown. Really good play.
And the other thing is he completed the process of the catch. That's become a big deal in the last couple of weeks in both pro and college football, and he certainly appeared to do that as well.
I was talking to Dieter's dad before the game. He said Dieter in high school had one game we had over 430 yards, receiving yards in one high school game. So, man yeah, he's a heck of a player.
Tyler Tate recovers to the PAT. 27-14, 4:47 to go, and the pressure is on the Bobcats to deliver on offense. This is how Desmond would actually stack the playoff race with Bowling Green over Blue Mountain State. But this is how much they hate Toledo in Bowling Green. 121st? Let me warn you, Toledo has a rocket outside their stadium that's coordinates are allegedly set to land at the Bowling Green campus, so don't aggravate them.
Yep, that was my original playoff team. Then my son said, Dada, you use that, you may get fired. So I had to change it.
Now you'll be with the game day gang in Tuscaloosa and getting ready for that LSU-Alabama. It's technically a playoff game even though it's November.
Yeah, that is true.
You got Walker and Patterson back deep for Ohio. And by the way, Toledo and Bowling Green, if you don't know, are not that far apart off of I-75. Maybe 25, 30 minutes even with the construction that's going on there. Let's go down to the studio, check in with Chris Cotter for the college football update. Chris, what do you got?
Hey, Dave, Des, just want to tell you the DXL halftime report just around the corner. Trevor Maddich will join me. We'll talk about a big slate of games, as you were talking about, this Saturday in college football. SEC, Big 12, ACC. We'll cover it. We'll talk about how Bama is going to stop Leonard Fournette, and that won't be an easy task. We'll also talk about the American. With Toledo's loss, now they're squarely in the spotlight as far as the group of five goes. That's coming up. DXL halftime report.
All right, yeah, that loss for Toledo last night. Even with Northern Illinois losing, it looks like Drew Hare for the season at quarterback. Tommy Lee Lewis may be out for a little while, their playmaking wide receiver, and yet they found a way to win that game in the Glass Bowl. A remarkable win for Rod Carey's group. Vic back to pass. In some trouble, has to be careful for the backside, and gets rid of it beautifully to Jordan Reed. A great play on the run by Vic, and Reed fighting for extra yards. It's a 26-yard gain, but there's a flag down. You're right, Desmond, at the 21-yard line. Smell a hold here?
Yeah, yes, sir. You look at Bowling Green's players, they're giving you every indication that someone's held.
Offense, number 57. 10-yard penalty.
Darrell Woods, the redshirt sophomore from Columbus, Ohio. Well, I wondered why that backside pressure didn't get to Vic, and now we know why, because there was a hold.
Yeah, here it is. Like you said, he tried to get him to push him around the quarterback, and he's right there in front of the official. Easy call for the official to make.
First down and 20. That was a tremendous throw by Vic, 2 on the run. So you, instead of a 24-yard pickup, you're now looking at 1st and 20. Vic, slant, incomplete, and here comes more flags. Patterson was the intended receiver, and he basically, you couldn't see him. Trenton Green was all over him. So this will go Ohio's way, almost certainly.
Yeah, Sanford got to the receiver before the ball did. Another easy call for the official to make. I want to see how the Bobcats respond, though.
Defense, number 35. Spot foul, automatic, first down.
Yeah, it wasn't Green, it was James Sanford, the redshirt junior.
Clock operator, please.
It's probably really hard for him to catch to check a guy like Patterson who's so nifty in his route running. He gets there way before the ball arrives. Like I said, easy call for the official to make.
It was. So 1st down and 10. off the penalty with 4:24 to go in this 27-14 game. Ohio 2-2 in the MAC East, trailing Bowling Green by 2 games. Patterson checks out. Ouellette comes in at the tailback, number 45 for Ohio. Ouellette on the carry, met in the hole immediately. That'll be a short game. Let's get back down to the field and Quint.
Dave, the sense down here is the significance of this drive right now. If you're Ohio, you've been chasing Bowling Green. They set such a fast scoring pace. You made that one mistake on your punt, and all of a sudden you're down 2 scores. You got to flip the field here, choose some clock, or get points here to keep pace.
Ohio has 2 timeouts, Quint, too, and they will go back to the ground, get out to about the 29-yard line to pick up a 5 before Terrence Bush, who's not wearing his usual number 61, but is wearing 37 tonight because he kept suffering torn jerseys.
Quint is right, though. This is a very important drive for the Bobcats. You really don't want to give this ball back to the Falcons with any time left on the clock, 90 seconds on the clock, anything like that, because that offense right now is humming. The Bobcats must get this first down. It's crucial. This is crucial.
They look for Sebastian Smith, who has caught 7 of the 8 passes that Vic has completed tonight. It'll be a first down, and it's Jordan Reed who has the other 2. And now another flag coming in from a long way away. And that was in the direction of the tackle.
A lot of laundry on this drive.
And Bowling Green says this is going back the other way, so we'll see.
Pass interference. Offense. Number 7.
Wow. Daz Patterson. So that is 2 first downs by Ohio wiped out by penalties on this drive.
Yeah, Daz Patterson is more of like a pick play right there where he just picks the guy, knocks him down, and Daz is only 5'7". I'll give Daz credit, though. So at least he looks back like he was looking for the ball as he ran into the defender. I mean, pretty good job, not a great job by Daz of trying to act like he wasn't picking the player, but the officials saw it and he had to throw. These are some easy calls to make for the officials. I mean, that was obvious, even though Daz looked back as if he was looking for the ball, which is what he was probably coached to do. So.
3rd down and 18. Vic on a keeper, design draw play, and he'll get a little bit of yardage back, almost to the original, to the 22, I should say. He'll be 11 yards short, and Bowling Green's going to burn a timeout.
And Bowling Green wants to get this ball back with a little time on the clock. Try to get one more score before they go in at halftime. It's going to be up to the Bobcats defense now to see what they can bring to the field. This is going to be a really interesting series for Bowling Green's offense and the Bobcats defense.
This game was 14-14 at one point, and we show you the significance of this game to the east because Bowling Green has had a stranglehold on this division lately. They're back-to-back champs. They haven't lost a MAC East game since 2012. They've won 16 in a row in the Eastern Division, and they have a 2-game edge already on Ohio, with Buffalo and Kent State hanging in there also. And Ohio's thinking about bowl eligibility. They've done that. They've been bowl eligible 6 straight years. So that's also on their mind, in addition to putting some pressure on Dino Babers' crew atop the Eastern Division. And Frank Solich said, we have a good football team. He told that right to our faces last night. We've just had too many injuries.
And I agree with him. And one way you can tell how well a team is coached is by the effort that they display despite the injuries and things of that nature that they have to deal with. And I tell you what, without that punt being blocked, giving Bowling Green a lot of momentum, Frank Solich's guys have played a really, really good game tonight with all the injuries they've come in here with.
Well, he's got a great reputation in the industry for the way his teams are prepared, for the way his teams play. And you always hear people say that an Ohio team is very well coached. It's unanimous around the conference. Bonstetter with a punt. Burbrink. That thing's going to make a right turn and a wise move to down it after 44 yards. Listen, 247 for Bowling Green is an eternity for this group.
It really is.
Bowling Green has scored on 4 consecutive possessions. They've got another chance here in good field position when we return. Here at Doit Perry Stadium, there is a good look at Matt Johnson, the redshirt senior from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And he's got 247 and 2 timeouts. Try to lead an explosive offense, one of the best in the nation. 4 times this year, they've gone over 600 yards, 22 touchdowns in their last 3 games. Now they have 26 touchdowns in 3.5, not even 3.5 games.
Yeah, Bowling Green's offense, they put up video game type numbers. I mean, it's ridiculous what they can do.
Johnson going to go for it all right here. And knocked down at the last second by Brett Layton in coverage, as Robbie Rhodes was the intended receiver. Now we have another flag, not anywhere near where the pass was thrown, in the middle of the field at the 39-yard line in Ohio territory. Before the last series that Ohio had the ball, it was only 1 penalty. Now there's a lot of laundry on the field. Yeah, the official between that series and this series.
Defense, number 33, 10-yard penalty, first down.
And a lot of flags going against Ohio. Yeah, Blair Brown, the linebacker, hit with that one. So an automatic first down gives Bowling Green an additional few yards, and now be at their own 44, 2:41 to go in the half.
The Falcons just showed us their aggressive nature on offense. They came right out and went deep. Try to hit a home run right out the gate.
Looking that same way again. Almost the same play, but there's a lot more bodies in there, and once again they went after Layton, and again it's broken up. That time the receiver was Tio Redding. But it's going to be 2nd down and 10. Pretty much the same play, only there was an additional receiver in the pattern.
And these guys, they aren't wide open either. It's just that Johnson has so much confidence in his receivers, he's always going to give them a chance to go down the field and make a play for him.
He scrambles out of trouble again. And just a little lob. And it was caught by one of the backup linemen. D'Angelo Ware, number 70, grabbed it. It'll be 3rd down and 10. To me, the middle of the field is where they've made their money today.
No, I agree with you. I agree. The middle of the field has been wide open. Oftentimes what they did early in the game is they would put like Lewis not flanked out very wide, but just wide enough that if they motion somebody beyond him, then he would be in the slot and they can exploit the middle of the field. They have not done that during this series right here. Everything's been to the sideline.
Johnson flushed out again. He has time. Now he doesn't have time. Brown is chasing him, and Johnson's going to throw it away. So Ohio's defense, you said it, Des, this is a gigantic series for them defensively, and they come through even despite the holding penalty.
Yeah, they held up really well during that series, so now they get the ball back. They got to feel good about themselves still. If you can get on the board before halftime, 2 minutes, they probably get the ball, 2 minutes left, maybe a few seconds. I think that's a win-win for them if they can score on this possession right here. They got to eliminate the penalties, though. You cannot come out here and play against Bowling Green and make all of the stupid mistakes that they're making and expect to win the ball game.
I keep thinking this was going to be a fake, but it's not. Davidson, pretty good kick. High, flag is down. Again, fair catch is made to the 11. Flag is at the 41, 42-yard line. So somebody has done something wrong.
Things have gotten pretty sloppy.
Yeah, the officials are just noticing a lot of things these teams aren't doing by the book. Holding against, now I got to think, do we punt again? Ohio's field position isn't all that good. I'm going to make a kick it again.
Oh. Kicking team, number 27, 10-yard penalty, repeat, 4th down.
As a rule of thumb, as a former punt returner, we always wanted them to punt the ball again.
Why?
Because these guys, they just ran 25, 35, 40 yards. So now our mindset is they're a little fatigued. And when you're fatigued, your technique starts to suffer. And then our guys can just, you don't have to get devastating blocks. When you got a guy like number 7, Patterson, returning, we've seen how fast he is, how quick he is. He has a burst. He's a guy who's fantastic in the open space. All you need is a little crease for him to take it the distance. So now you're going up against a punt unit that just ran 40 yards, and now they got to run 40 yards again to try to cover a punt and tackle number 7, Daz Patterson.
Now let's see. He rooted this kick, and he kicked it out of bounds. So this is always fun. Quint, I know this has been an interesting series for Joe Davidson, the punter for Bowling Green.
Yeah, he's the best punter in the MAC by a wide margin, averaging more than 46 yards. That was put out of bounds to perfection. 6'7" lefty, and Des knows that ball comes down with an opposite spin, can be tricky for return men to catch a punt off a left-handed foot, but Davidson's got a bright future.
She was exactly right. It's an odd spin. It's a reverse spin that comes off of a lefty's foot. And when I played, especially in the NFL, if we were going to go up against a left-footed punter, we would bring one in during the week so I could practice catching balls off of his foot.
2:06 and 2 timeouts for Darius Vick, middle of the field. There's Smith again. And a big tackle by Clint Stevens kept Smith from really making that a big play. Instead, it's a solid 16-yard pickup and a first down. Sebastian Smith having a big night with 8 catches.
And what's interesting now about this offense, the Bobcats offense, is now they can really go up-tempo. There's no reason to try to just, drain the clock or chew the clock. They can go up-tempo now and try to get some points on the board.
And they get 7 from Ouellette on that carry, the sophomore from Covington, Ohio, brought down by Austin Valdez. 140 and counting. Longest field goal of the season for Yazdani, by the way, is 50 yards, and Ouellette will wisely get out of bounds, and he'll get a first down while doing so. That stops the clock with 1:24 following the 5-yard pickup.
You look at Bowling Green's defense, too. Those guys are walking around now, putting their hands on their hips. They may be getting a little winded, too, so especially up front. They're not getting the pressure on Darius Vick that they got earlier in the game.
And Vick takes off, and he'll pick up 4 to the 44-yard line. That takes us to 1:15 and counting. Remember, the Bobcats, 2 timeouts, and same for the Falcons. Coming up on 1 minute. Vick, Smith stops it at the 33-yard line, making the catch from his knees. 9 catches in the first half for Sebastian Smith, showing everybody that Roger Lewis is not the only hot shot receiver in this game.
Yes, sir.
But Ohio still not using a timeout. We're under a minute, down to 51 seconds. Fake to Ouellette. He stays in the block. Going to go for it all right here, and just overthrown. Jordan Reed, number 12, is the closest receiver to it. It'll be 2nd down and 10. That stops the clock with 43 seconds to go.
Yeah, Reed had a step on the defender, but Vick just threw a little too far ahead of him. And finally, Bowling Green got some pressure up front. Tried to bring an extra man. Brought number 16, Austin Valdez, who's a guy who's actually pretty good in coverage, too. You don't see Brian Ward bringing a lot of pressure either. I think, Valdez is probably the guy who Ward has designated to keep an eye on Vick. And if he doesn't run, then he has the flexibility to blitz.
Ouellette needs that block out there, and he's not going to get very much. There's a marker on the play as well. Hardy on the stop. We have had a ton of penalties in this quarter.
Offside, defense, number 99, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
7 in this quarter on penalties. So offside was Brian Baird from Spring Valley, Ohio. So a little bit of a break for the Bobcats, because that play didn't really do anything, and they pick up 5 yards. They're certainly in field goal range, although Yazdani would be kicking into the wind here, so a few more yards. Another first down would definitely do it for him. Long throw by Vick, and it's caught out of bounds. Incomplete.
I think the Bobcats' mentality right now is they want to score a touchdown. You got to try to put 7 points on the board before halftime if you can, because you're still going up against one of the most explosive offenses in the country. Really nice catch, but could not get that foot down.
So we're 3rd down and 5. And Vick has been very good with his legs tonight. So you got to think that's an option here.
That's definitely an option. You have Sebastian Smith at the bottom of the screen. Looks like he has one-on-one right now because the safety is so deep in the hash. Number 4, he's rotating. You just
and hold everything before this play even begins, and he was looking at that one-on-one coverage, wasn't he?
He was, yes, sir.
It could be a false start here, I think. They're sorting it out, but
yeah, it was Smith against Alfonso Mack, number 26. That would have been something to see.
That's where that surely looked like that's where Vic was going. And that's really what Ohio wanted. Smith's got a hot hand right now at receiver. This is longer than your usual false start discussion, though. Usually that is a very cut and dried call.
And, you know, in a play like that, like I said, you have Ohio getting the look that they want, the matchup that they want.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And they get penalized again.
Staggering amount of penalties in this quarter. Now they finally mark it back, so it's going to be 3rd down and 10, and 28 seconds on the clock. Ohio still has their 2 timeouts. And now it looks like they brought that safety to where he can keep an eye on Smith.
Exactly. I was wondering if the Falcons would go to that same defensive look in the secondary.
I think they got away with one there. Jordan Reed goes to the slot, looking in that direction as Vic. He still looks towards Smith. He's got some room to run, and a sweet cutback. Brought him back, though, into the flow of the defense. He'll pick up 5 to get to the 28. Got to think that timeout, and now a flag again.
Wow.
Stopping the clock with 19 seconds to go.
This game got real sloppy real fast.
And this might be on Zach Colvin for Bowling Green, number 92. Let's see, though, because the flag came in after the play.
Is he pleading his case out there?
Well, he's definitely going, and Frank Solich would like a little conversation about this, too. He's about an 1/8 of the way onto the field for Ohio. And now Dino Babers is being briefed on the near sideline by one of the other officials.
Okay.
So when you start doing this is not a typical call. When both head coaches are being told what's going on before the referee even makes the announcement. It's unsportsmanlike conduct.
After the play, a little extracurricular activity, and the second guy always gets caught. And it looks like Colvin was caught. So, which could be huge for Ohio. This could be huge for the Bobcats.
Or are they calling it on Vic or Colvin? See, this is
it on Vic?
I believe it is. Yep.
Oh,
look where they're headed.
It's the type of thing you cannot do when you're playing against Bowling Green and
how often do you see
score, you know,
a quarterback called for unsportsmanlike conduct?
I know, right?
That is rare.
Very rare.
That's 5 penalties on Ohio in this quarter for 64 yards.
Yeah.
Now you get 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. The second one gets you ejected.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense, number 15, 15-yard penalty, 4th down. That includes a 10-second runoff. Please set the game clock to 9 seconds.
So 9 seconds will be remaining in the half.
Let's look again, see what he did.
Well, Colvin was involved all right, but looks like they got the first guy this time.
Yeah, it did. It seemed like he tried to push him off of him or kick him off of him.
Little kick.
Yeah.
Well, he wants to get up as quickly as he can.
Right.
And Colvin was not really interested in that. And so now you're 4th and 21. And Ohio's going to take one of those 2 timeouts because I suppose you could run a play here and go for it, but if you get a sack.
Yes.
Second team timeout. Oh. That'll be a
now
30
the scoreboard clock
timeout.
is at 0.
Timer. Please place 2 seconds.
But they're going to put 2 seconds back on the clock.
Thank you.
So the half is not over. They shot the cannon off prematurely. The ROTC down there, it's a little quick, but they were going by the clock. So there's 2 seconds to go. It's 4th and 21. I guess it's Hail Mary time.
Yeah, just a little quick on the trigger down there with the shooting off the cannon. But like I said, Dave, for the Bobcats to want to come out here and stay in this game, you just can't make those type of stupid mistakes that kills drives. It kills opportunities to score points.
And we got a couple of Big Ten games for you with 8-0 teams. Perfect records on the line. Presented by Cars.com. Number 9, Iowa takes on Indiana at 3:30 Eastern. And 7th-ranked Michigan State plays Nebraska in Lincoln at 7. Presented by Hilton Hotels. Both games are streaming live on Watch ESPN. So 3 receivers to the right of the quarterback. And Bowling Green has put out some wide receivers at around the 3-yard line. This is a new trend that I'm starting to see coaches get their very best hands on there. Bowling Green calls a timeout.
Second timeout, Bowling Green.
One of those
this
out
will be a
there
30-second timeout.
with Roger Lewis, number 1. And Moore is out there, number 5. Now, I realize there's also double numbers in college football frequently. And there is a defensive back, Daryl Hunter, number 1. Let's check in with Quint. Quint, what do you got?
Yeah, Dave, you're all over it. Dino Babers putting in those tallish wide receivers who have strong ball skills to jump. I mean, how many Hail Marys are we going to see in the course of one season before something is done? I go back to the BYU-Nebraska Hail Mary from early in the season, maybe week 1 or 2, where you had a tall wide receiver against some Smurfy corners. You got to put your tall guys who can jump and play the ball in the air.
It's a smart play. These guys are your best hands. Defensive backs, we all know. Desmond will tell you happily, defensive backs don't have good hands. That's why they're defensive backs.
100% right.
So I think Babers and any other coach who does that thing has got the right idea. So, again, Vic will just wind it up, and let's see what happens. Now, they're back more at the 15-yard line. Vic looking to get his feet set. He better hurry and better watch the backside. He'll get sacked. Not a great finish to the half for Ohio. So many penalties, wiping out first downs. And an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on their quarterback made for a somewhat less than memorable finish to a competitive first half. Bowling Green scoring TDs on 4 of their 5 final possessions. Let's get down to Quint.
Coach, why do you think the game got a little choppy there in the second quarter?
I have no idea. That Ohio's a good football team. Frank Solich is a good coach, doing some things that we haven't seen on tape. We're going to have to go in halftime, make some adjustments, come back in the second half.
You mentioned that. What has been most challenging for your defense in terms of what's new?
They're doing some old school Houston Veer, Bill Yeoman type stuff. We got to go in there and chalk some stuff up.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Our halftime score, Bowling Green 27, Ohio 14. Now let's go to Chris Conner and Trevor Manich for the DXL halftime report. Man.
Thank you, Dave. DXL halftime report, 27-14, Bowling Green on top as we're watching.
Welcome back to the DXL halftime report.
Yes, Trevor, the first college football playoff rankings have been released, but they are going to change big time between now and the next ranking release because on Saturday we have some huge games. Let's pick the 3 big games. Let's start with the game on ABC 3:30. It's Clemson and Florida State in Death Valley. Who wins?
I like Clemson in this game, Chris, and in part it's because of the way they have obliterated the concept of Clemsoning. It used to be that you would grab these tigers by the tail, and they would meekly submit a request to HR that the person who grabbed the tail would please let go of it, and then they would talk to Dr. Phil about their issues. Not these tigers. These tigers hit you in the mouth, and they showed it against Miami. About an hour before the game, there was an altercation pregame. Miami was trying to intimidate Clemson. It was Miami's house. Coaches had to keep them apart. There were angry words. The blood was up. It was just that kind of a moment that Miami thrives on. First quarter, they tried to intimidate Clemson. Here you've got Artie Burns trying to drag Sharon Peak to the ground, and it doesn't work out too well for the defender, but he's still trying to drag him to the ground. He comes up talking. Well, in the old days, you could get away with that with Clemson, but not this time. Next play, very next play. Look how Peak responds. Let's look at that again. Let's just enjoy this for a second. This is just fantastic. Next play, bam! And this is what happened all in the first half. All throughout it, you saw Miami trying to intimidate Clemson, hitting them hard, doing a good job, but Clemson coming right back up and hitting Miami right back in the mouth. And I'll tell you this is not that old Clemson team. These guys are absolute tigers.
Well, T. Boone Pickens just walked in. We're talking about TCU at Oklahoma State. We've been waiting for November in the Big 12. Now we've got it, and it starts this weekend. Big games for the rest of the month. Who do you think wins this one, TCU at OK State?
I think TCU wins, but this is slim. Oklahoma State's not getting a lot of credit. This is a very, very good team. But Trevon Boykin of TCU as a Heisman candidate is legitimate. And he combines the two things that the two-quarterback system of Oklahoma State is doing right now. They've got Mason Rudolph throwing the ball primarily, J.W. Wash passing the ball. Trevon Boykin does them both at a Heisman level. And so the ability to stress defenses without having to switch quarterbacks, whether it's from the pocket, extending pass plays, or taking off on the run, to me, is that one X factor, because Oklahoma State's defense is good enough to slow them down and good enough to make plays break down. This is a guy that can make broken plays work anyway.
In the SEC, much of the talk with this first ranking is, should Alabama be in the top 4 with that one loss? Well, we're going to find out a lot on Saturday. Either they will be if they beat LSU at home, or they'll be jettisoned out the back if they lose. Who wins this one?
Yeah, Chris, I think Alabama wins, and I think they will slow down Leonard Fournette. You can look at what they did against Georgia, which is the best combination, offensive line and running back, with Nick Chubb that they faced this year. And it's all about how they built walls around Chubb that they'll need to build around Fournette. The first thing is how you build the wall. The defensive line bench presses the offensive line, stands them up, squares up, and that's a wall that Chubb just could not get through for most of the game. Then the second thing is funnel the running back into the wall. Watch how they set the edges of the hole upfield here. There's only one place for Chubb to go, and that's in between those guys. But what will he find when he gets in between them? Oh, yeah, a wall that the rest of the guys build. Alabama is so powerful in their hips and legs and thighs and their bench pressing that they can make these kinds of walls. The other way to manage walls is to bust through the other guy's wall. They got penetration and made Nick Chubb make moves in the backfield that they will need to make Fournette move, because that keeps him from getting rolling downhill. And if they're able to slow slow Fournette, they won't stop him. But if they can slow him down, they put the onus on Brandon Harris, the quarterback. And if Harris can beat him, well, bless his heart, they can live with that. They just don't want Fournette to.
Yeah, one quick note here on LSU's defense. Les Miles calls Tre'Davious White, the cornerback, gimpy, and not really sure whether he's going to be able to go. That could be a big deal. He's one of the better cover cornerbacks in the entire league, so Alabama might be able to exploit that. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about the American. Yeah, Group of 5. Looks like the focus after Toledo's loss on Tuesday night might be with Memphis and Houston as far as unbeaten teams. We'll talk about this conference coming up.
The DXL Halftime Report.
Now Toledo was flying the flag for the MAC in the first playoff rankings, coming in at 24, but then they fell just a couple of hours after the rankings were released to Northern Illinois in the Glass Bowl last night. So now Toledo really out of the picture in terms of the Group of 5 team that maybe, at least in getting to the New Year's Six Bowls, but possibly getting into the playoff. Trevor, now we look to the American. You got Memphis at 13, Temple with the one loss to Notre Dame at 22, Houston still unbeaten at 25. What do you think the chances are of one of those teams from the American getting in, particularly Memphis and Houston as they're undefeated?
The only chance is Memphis. Houston does not, because their non-conference schedule doesn't give them enough juice, even if they go undefeated. But Memphis, if Memphis wins out and Ole Miss wins out and wins the SEC, then I think Memphis should go before Ole Miss goes. Memphis should be ranked higher than Ole Miss because of the fact that they beat Ole Miss on the field and the fact that they're undefeated and Ole Miss has 2 losses.
What about some of these one-loss teams as well out there? How would you rank an unbeaten Memphis team? I know they have the big win against Ole Miss, but what if they have to go up against a one-loss team from the Pac-12, one-loss team from the Big 12?
Then I think it's different, because I think the committee would have the excuse of giving the benefit of the doubt to the Power 5 conference champion, because even though there's one loss there, they had more difficult games than Memphis will have had, even if they do win out.
And by the way, very good games this weekend as we look at the ESPN slate of games in the American, a couple of them on ESPN too. Cincinnati is not going to be an easy out for Houston. That's a 3:30 game, so we're going to keep an eye on that one. Also, it isn't like Navy is going to be easy for Memphis either. Navy could give them a hard time. Experience a quarterback. That's a 7 o'clock game on ESPN too. Trevor, what else sticks out at you here?
Ohio State. Now Cardell Jones is back in the fold. He's the starting quarterback again because J.T. Barrett was suspended. And so that will be an interruption in the flow that they wanted J.T. Barrett to get into heading into the last 2 games of the season. Keep in mind that those last 2 games are Michigan State and at Michigan. And the last time Ohio State went to Michigan, that game went to overtime, and there were like 83 points scored between those 2 teams.
And one thing we've seen quickly, too, about Ohio State is clearly they come in the 3rd spot in this playoff ranking, despite the fact that other than the game against Rutgers, they've struggled pretty much all year long. So the committee is saying, we're still giving you the benefit of the doubt until you play Michigan State and Michigan and prove it on the field. We still think you're a good football team.
I think on tape, they look like a better football team than Michigan State.
Okay.
Michigan State, when you look at strength of record, strength of schedule, quality win, they have a win at a ranked team at Michigan. Michigan State does. Ohio State hasn't played a ranked team yet that's currently ranked. Michigan State has a better excuse from a standpoint of the spreadsheet. But when you put the tape on, Ohio State right now looks like a better football team. Ohio State right now is a much better football team than it was in September.
I should give Ohio State a little more credit. They looked pretty good against Penn State as well at home the game before. When we come back, we're going to talk about the NBA. Got a doubleheader on ESPN tonight. Show you some highlights in a second.
This halftime report is presented by DXL. You're looking good.
Got an NBA doubleheader over on ESPN tonight. The second game, yes, that's Steph Curry. He's taken his game from a championship last spring to the next level at the beginning of this year. It's been unbelievable. So it'll be the Clippers and the Warriors in the second game. First game in progress right now, and it's a good one. Cavs hosting the Knicks. And eventually we're going to show you highlights. Maybe, hopefully, maybe not. There it is. LeBron James is going to be worth the wait on this one. Just sets up Kristaps Porzingis. And one. So Cleveland was trailing at that point, but trying to get back into it. Then off the miss. Look at Porzingis here. Oh, he's off to a great start, too, with the jam over Kevin Love. 3-point game right now. It's just a 1-point game with the Knicks on top over on ESPN. Don't forget the ESPN app. It's a must-have for all college football fans. Never miss a touchdown or game-changing moment. All the best highlights delivered from the field to your phone in a matter of seconds. Download the ESPN app right now. Matt Johnson finding Ronnie Moore here. Falcons by 13 at the break. Second half on the way.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Jimmy John's. It's Ohio University's Bobcats, Bowling Green's Falcons. I'm Dave Lalonde, along with a Heisman Trophy winner and cast member of Game Day, Desmond Howard. Quinn Kesnick's got the field for you. And we welcome you to a beautiful evening here in Ohio. Bowling Green trying to make it 17 straight against MAC East opponents dating back to 2012. And as Quint used the expression, choppy second quarter in his conversation with Dino Babers. That seemed to be appropriate with all the penalty flags. And Ohio not having the right amount of people on the field for a punt and getting that next punt partially blocked. And Bowling Green asserting themselves with 4 touchdown drives in their last 5. They'll be kicking off first.
After that punt fiasco, things just went downhill.
Yeah, it did.
For the Bobcats. So
it really did. It was really unusual because the fact that they didn't have the right amount of people on there was surprising in its own right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We had 10 penalties for each combined. It seems like more.
It did. It really did.
We'll have a touchback here, and Ohio will take over the 25-yard line. Darius Vick has gone all the way, and from another perspective on that, let's get down to the field and Quint.
Penalties and keeping Matt Johnson in the pocket, the two biggest concerns of Frank Solich, Ohio coach. You guys just talked about it, the second quarter. Just too many self-inflicted mistakes if you're going to beat a team of the quality of Bowling Green. Defensively, Matt Johnson, his ability to escape and extend plays led to that key touchdown by Ronnie Moore. And then long-term here, Dave, we got to keep our eye on the Ohio linebackers. They're a little banged up. We've got to see if they can make it through the second half healthy.
Yeah, they came in shorthanded, and we'll detail that a little bit more when they go back out defensively. But you're right, especially the defensive side of the ball has been a big problem for the Bobcats and injuries. That's Patterson at the tailback position. Play action fake to him, and Darius Vick steps into the throw, and it is nearly intercepted at the 34-yard line by Clint Stevens. A lot of orange and brown around that football.
That was just a poor read by Darius Vick because he had his main guy, Sebastian Smith, down the field for a post. Like you said, look at all the orange jerseys right there around the ball. Really bad decision by Vick. You'd think that they would come out after halftime and be a little more encouraged, a little more motivated, a little more dialed in.
He comes running the option and is spun down after picking up a couple of yards.
And we're going to pick up where we left off because I see another flag on the ground.
And also still on the ground is Vick. And there's also an issue with 2 players at the 22-23 yard line. Zach Colvin, one of them, he gets up, number 92 in orange. But Vic, and Quint has mentioned that ankle, and you see the tape on that shoe to try to protect what's been a bad ankle for Darius Vic. And we're going to have a holding call. So the holding call will most likely go against Ohio, although the official did not actually signal that yet. See what happened here with Vic. Terrence Bush is the guy who tackled him. And Vic has been dealing with a tender ankle for several weeks. We were told yesterday that it's about the best he has felt all season long, but he has run the ball quite a bit, and he is being helped off the field, favoring that ankle just a little bit. One of the most bizarre plays you'll ever see is you're watching Vic run. Look at the top of your screen and see the tangle up in the face mask between Darrell Woods, number 57, and Zach Colvin, 92. That's unbelievable. Now, they're not hurt. They're both back out there, and Colvin actually had to remove his helmet for obvious reasons, but clearly the helmet laws don't apply in this situation. Now we see for the first time tonight J.D. Sprague, the redshirt junior from Cincinnati, replacing Darius Vic, who is nicked up. And they'll start with an empty backfield set. None of this we're going to hand it off to be conservative. Sprague's going to come out firing, and that'll be a first down. The catch made by Jordan Reed. That'll be out to the 37-yard line.
We have to tell our audience that it's not a surprise that we're seeing Sprague because we anticipated seeing him. We knew coming into this game they had a package or two for J.D. Sprague. But I think because Vic played so well in the first half, they had a rhythm going that they didn't put Sprague in the game. And I know they didn't want to put him in a game under these circumstances. But Sprague has come out here ready to play this game. He was practicing all week, so this isn't a situation where this guy hasn't had the reps in practice.
Alfonso Mack with a tackle there after a 4-yard pickup by Daz Patterson, the senior running back for Ohio. He has been alternating carries with A.J. Olette, number 45. Big receiver so far for Ohio, Sebastian Smith. He gets closest to you. And one-on-one coverage right now. Sprague, he slings it. And here comes the flag. Smith was the intended receiver, and he got knocked down around midfield. Looked like Dernard Turner, number 18, with a little bit of contact, enough to draw a flag, and it's going to be a pass interference call against the Falcons.
It may have been just an incidental contact with the feet tangled up with Stevens.
Defense, number 2.
Yeah, with Stevens.
Automatic first down.
So not Turner, number 2, Stevens. I thought it was Turner, but either way, it's going to be a penalty.
Yeah, Stevens, I think their feet got caught up when he was coming out the route. He ran the route for Sebastian, actually.
Yep, you're right. Turner in the picture there late, but it was Stevens. Not a lot of contact, but enough for Sprague. Now, Sprague, they told us, is a pocket passer, and he certainly looks comfortable just letting loose.
Very comfortable. And like I said, he anticipated playing in this game. We all knew he was going to play. We didn't know at one point because they had several packages for Sprague. So, he's coming out. He looks very comfortable. They said that even though he's a pocket passer, they have put runs in the game for him. So, and there was one right there. So we're going to see him run the ball too.
He had completed just about 61% of his passes before tonight. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He gained 4 there, 2nd and 6. Oh, and he missed Jordan Reed. I don't know how. Reed was absolutely open in the seam. It'll be 3rd down and 6.
It seems like Brian Ward, the defensive coordinator for the Falcons, is starting to go with a single high safety. They were showed 2 high, but right before the snap, they're rotating into a single high safety situation. So I think this is one of the adjustments that he's made at halftime, just in case Sprague starts to run the ball also.
Ohio has converted just a little better than 50% on 3rd down. They go empty here with Patterson checking out of the backfield. Overthrew the tight end, Keith Heitzman, the former Michigan Wolverine, and it'll be 4th down.
I just think at this point it's up to the coaching staff of the Bobcats, offensive coaches, to just settle Sprague down a little bit. They know he has the arm talent. He can make those throws. but I think he's a little too excited, a little wound up right now going to the game. So once they can settle him down, they may be able to hit those seam routes.
And the timetable on Vic's return. Will he be back? That's the other issue we'll keep an eye on. Ryan Burbrink awaiting this kick inside the 10-yard line. Bowling Green has already gotten a hand on one punt tonight. They're not even rushing this one, and he's going to try to tuck this inside the 20, but it's got a weird-looking spin on it, and he does indeed tuck it in the 20. Mitch Bonstetter, who had 18 inside the 20 coming in, adds one more to that total. Only 32 yards, but he absolutely did his job. Now, Matt Johnson is leading NCAA touchdown passer this year. He reached the 30 mark in the first half when he got going, and he looks streaky tonight. He's either really hot or a little bit off.
No, you're right about that. And, you know, they're getting a little pressure on him. It seems like his reads aren't on point like they normally are. I think normally he's a guy who's so cerebral that he can get a pretty good pre-snap read and know where he wants to go with the ball. He's struggled with that so far tonight.
And that play is a struggle as the running back Fred Coppin, number 28, back into the ball game. That's going to be a loss of 3 as Blair Brown and Casey Sales double team on the stop of the Bobcat defense. Veteran coaching staff for Ohio. The coordinators have been around. Jimmy Burrow runs the defense. He's been here as long as Frank Solich. The offense coordinator Tim Albin here as long as Solich, 11 years. That is really unusual. Johnson comes out firing here. Catch at the 20-yard line. That's Lewis. And he will race to right around the marker. I think he's going to get the first down. Roger Lewis, who came into the game number 2 in the country in receiving yards, has caught a pass at 23 straight. Number 2 in the nation in yards per game. Number 3 in the nation is receiving in touchdowns.
You mentioned Jimmy Burrow, the defensive coordinator for the Bobcats. He's playing his guys really close to the line of scrimmage now.
Going for it all right here against Dieter, and he'll catch it! Derek Dieter to the 10, touchdown, Bowling Green!
What an incredible circus catch by Dieter. You're talking about sticking with the ball, hanging in there. He must have caught that ball about 3 or 4 times, and he just hung in there, stayed with it, and like I said, Roger Lewis is not the only vertical threat for the Falcons offense. Dieter is a guy who has to be accounted for too, because Matt Johnson, he doesn't play any favoritism with any of the receivers. He'll throw it deep to anybody. Like I said, he gives a guy a chance to make a play.
They've been
Dieter
going
wasn't
after
wide open.
Brett Layton too. They seem like they've been doing a lot of takeoffs down that side, the near sideline, and going after Layton. So Johnson with 32 touchdown passes on the season. That one a spectacular 75-yard hookup to Gary Dieter, the redshirt junior from South Bend, Indiana, who has 2 of those touchdown catches tonight. Bowling Green in charge, leading by 20.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Scion. Premium standard features that actually come standard. Weird, right?
Well, spectacular 75-yard hookup from Matt Johnson to Gary Dieter has blown this game open as Bowling Green tries to go to 5-0 in the MAC and take a real stranglehold on that Eastern Division. It would put Ohio 3 games back in the East. Ohio, not out of it though. They can still come back, but you wonder about the health of their starting quarterback, Darius Vick. And we'll see J.D. Sprague again, as Vick is right now doesn't even have his helmet on. So it looks like Sprague is going to come back out for another series. Now, let's look at this Dieter catch again. You're going to see the juggling spectacular grab. And for Bowling Green fans, this should look familiar, because a week earlier against Kent State, Roger Lewis did something almost identical to that.
Wow.
Different sideline, but a juggling grab and a breakaway and a touchdown. So this offense.
That's concentration, Holmes.
You make your own breaks.
Yes, sir. You gotta like Johnson. He likes to give his guys a chance to make a big play.
Olette, the tailback, 45. Sprague being chased. And he gets rid of it. Olette knocked down as the ball got there. Incomplete, 2nd down and 10. And you just feel like this thing is tilting downhill against Ohio right now.
Yeah, you're right about that. Good move by Sprague, though, to avoid the sack in the backfield. That's a nice move. Pretty good footwork for a typical pocket passer.
Well, running for your life will motivate you, man. You know what I mean? 2nd and 10. I think he had strong motivation to avoid that. Walker goes in motion. It's Kwame Walker. And this will be Ouellette. And Bowling Green is starting to stiffen defensively with Valdez on the stop. Let's get more on the health of Darius Vick from Quint.
Dave, they took off his outer tape, his cleat, the brace, the inner tape, and they looked at it and put ice on it. So Darius Vick is most likely done for the day. Other injury news, right tackle Troy Watson right now on the sideline. Looks like a hamstring. You got a new right tackle in the game for Ohio, and that's what broke down on 1st down.
Yeah, they are unbelievably nicked up now on both sides of the ball. Thank you, Quint. Pressure up the middle, picked up nicely by that patched together line, and a catch by Kwame Walker. He'll get out to the 40-yard line, a gain of 13 and a 1st down for Ohio. Just to review the injuries, they're missing Pappy White, who's an explosive kick returner who can handle both punts and kickoffs. They're missing nose tackle Tatsuyaki. They're missing Quentin Poling. They're missing Devin Bass and Kylan Nelson from their secondary. And they're not missing a 1st down, though.
No, they're not. Sprague is actually looking pretty good right now. Looks like he's getting into a rhythm. We have a player down, though, for Bowling Green.
That's Jernard Turner, number 18, having a tough time getting up.
Sprague looks as though he's becoming a little more confident in the pocket.
Dino Babers will wander out to the middle of the field. The Bowling Green Falcon logo. This university going through a ton of construction right now. Always a good sign when your college campus has construction on it. They've got their own airport, aviation department here, their crime lab. One of 4 schools with a crime lab here, so things looking up at Bowling Green. Beautiful rec center for the students and the public. Quint would be there now if he wasn't working out.
Very nice rec center.
And it looks like, hopefully, that Jernard Turner is going to be all right. And a football program that's attracting a lot of attention. And I even hate to bring this up, but we got to be honest. Dino Babers' name is popping up for the many job openings, and of course, more to come around the country.
Yeah, I mean, talking to him yesterday, you can see how this guy's going to be a really attractive candidate for a lot of the job openings. And man, he's a heck of a coach. He has such a great passion for the game and such a great teacher too.
And played it. Let's not forget that as Ohio goes to the ground. And Sprague looked like a jitterbug. Now they list him at 6'1", and I realize we're not at field level, but he doesn't look 6'1".
No, not at all. But Sprague, he has a little burst too. I was surprised to see him turn the corner the way he did. He didn't shy away from contact. He's ready for this moment.
And Ouellette stuffed by Trenton Green. No gain on the play. There is a penalty marker down.
Offside. Defense. Excuse me. Defense.
There you go.
Number 50. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
So a break for the Bobcats. We've had a ton of penalties after a very clean first quarter. We had 10, almost all of them in the second quarter, including an unsportsmanlike conduct on Darius Vick, the quarterback. When do you ever see that? But it was the correct call. He did kick a Bowling Green player. That was right. Sprague. He'll keep it. I like what you said about he's ready for this moment, because you never know when that moment is going to come. And if you're not prepared, then you can't take advantage of it.
No, we see it time and time again where a backup player, whether it's a quarterback or a running back or whoever it is, needs to step in and play well for his team to have a chance or to win a game. And Sprague right now, he looks sharp. I mean, I like what I'm seeing from this kid.
Look at him go. He gets inside the 15 to the 14, another 1st down. He gains 10. Stevens in there on the stop. And there's something else I think, Des, from the Bowling Green perspective, is they've never seen this guy or very little of him. There's not a lot of him on film. Right. You're getting ready, Vic, and all of a sudden here's Sprague.
That's an excellent point, Dave. And, you know, Brian Ward did not know what to expect from this offense just because they had the 10 days off. And then now you have a totally new quarterback in the game who you only have a little bit of film on. You don't really know how to defend him. So that's a valid point.
And he wasn't listed on the 2 deeps that we received during the pre. And it's pick 6. Opportunity here. Denard Turner in the clear.
Now Daz can catch him. It's a matter of if Daz going to make the tackle.
Can Patterson get him? No, he can't. Touchdown, pick 6, Bowling Green. 83 yards. Officially now changed to 85. Officially a heartbreaker against Ohio.
This is Sprague trying to throw across the field and trying to throw to Heisman too. It's a bad throw, bad read. He should have went to his right as opposed to going to his left. And you know, plays like that can blow this game wide open. We're looking at maybe 41-14 at this point if they make the extra point.
And there's Dino Babers celebrating with his guys, and why not? He may be an offensive mind and have his fingerprints on the offensive game plan, but he's got a defense that after a slow start has begun to really flex its muscles. Denard Turner, who was actually tossed out of the last game, and a targeting call is more than made up for that.
Just a simple flat route, underthrown. You got to throw it where either your guy can catch it or it goes out of bounds, but you can't underthrow that ball because the defender will always undercut it. There will always be a strong chance that it'll be a pick 6.
Turner's third interception, and guess what? Another Miami, another Florida product. He went at a great Booker T. Washington program in Miami. Senior. 4 pass breakups on the year. He's played pretty well. From the safety position, now 3 picks and that long pick 6. And since the first quarter, Bowling Green has outscored Ohio 27-7.
Coach Babers and his staff, they've done a really good job of going down there to Miami and bringing some talented players up here to Ohio. They've made an impact tonight, that's for sure.
No doubt. You know, other schools have done it too. Northern Illinois has been able to come in and bring in talent into the MAC from South Florida. Yeah. You know, there are, you've got a ton of Division I schools down there, of course. Miami, Florida, Florida State, USF, UCF, Florida Atlantic, and FIU. But there's still more.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
And you know what? You come to the MAC, you love the game. This is a football-loving conference. And the guys who play in the MAC love football, period. You don't get a lot of 4- and 5-star guys here. You get the guys who play hard at 2- and 3 stars.
No, I agree with you. And like you said, it means something to them. They love football.
So does Quint Kesnick. What do you got, Quint?
Daz Patterson in that attempt to make the tackle down by the goal line, diving. It looked like his helmet might have come down on the crown of his nose because he had blood all over his face, and they're treating him right now for what appears to be a nose injury. You know, Tom Coughlin said it best. Injuries are a disease, and right now it has infected this Ohio sideline.
Yeah, you can see the might have been kicked too, Quint. We looked again at that replay. Might have gotten, you know, the heel got him in the nose or got to the face mask and shoved that down, as you said. But yeah, it's starting to get away from Ohio here as they go again to Sprague. Vic, when you put the ice on, that's never a good sign. First carry of the night for Dorian Brown, number 28. Well, they better pack a lot of ice. They're going to be stopping at a convenience store to pick up more ice on the way on the drive back to Athens.
Yeah, you're right about that. I want to see how Sprague bounces back from a pick 6 now, because he was actually looking really good and sharp before that play. So,
well, there he goes again. This is one thing he has done very effectively. He will get a first down out to the 37-yard line after a gain of 9. Trenton Green brought him down. Another problem for Ohio is not starting any of their possessions, last 7, with good field position either.
I mean, Sprague is a quarterback that the knock on him is that he may hang in there in the pocket too long coming to this game, but I haven't seen that so far. Like, if he doesn't like his first or second read, he will pull it down and run it. And I thought that he may sit in there, try to go through his progression, and maybe let the rush get to him. But Sprague has played well. He gets out of jams. He's doing a really good job of reading the coverages. Just that pick six, bad decision.
And Bowling Green's defense is also playing with tremendous confidence. That pass incomplete. It'll be 3rd down and 10. We mentioned the last 2 games they've given up only 437 total yards. And at first, Ohio was moving the football with great authority.
Right.
That's not happening anymore.
No.
Except for the quarterback run game, which has worked well when Vic was in there and has worked for Sprague.
Yep.
But it's not, that's about all they've got. They can't really get either Ouellette or Patterson going. Now they're trying Dorian Brown, number 28, of the tailback. Sprague, we've got a receiver open there in the Bowling Green territory. That's Kwame Walker. And he is hauled out of bounds after a 25-yard pickup at around the 40, make it the 38-yard line of the Falcons. Nice looking
Sprague
throw.
is showing you some arm talent. He throws the ball right over Stevens, the boundary corner, number 2, and right in front of the safety. I mean, that's a big time throw. Excellent touch on the ball for Sprague.
Little pressure here. Sprague just overthrew everybody in the stadium there, trying to get it into Jordan Reed. And when he is missed, other than the interception, he is missed high and hard.
The way that Albin is calling this game right now with Sprague in there at the quarterback position, it shows you how much confidence he has in Sprague's ability to throw the ball. I mean, they're not like a lot of short routes and underneath routes. They're going vertical. He's going down the field and making some tough throws. Now, he's missed a couple too. But the throw before last, that was a heck of a throw.
Sprague 4 of 11, and he's been picked. He's going to shoulder shake and get tackled in the open field. No gain on the play. Taylor Royster, the veteran, former nose guard, moved him to the outside, and he came up with a sweet tackle there. 3rd and long.
Taylor Royster, former walk-on, showed a little quickness, a little mobility. Didn't let the quarterback get away from him. Pretty good for the big guy, weighing at 260 pounds, and he's my height. He's 5'10".
So maybe no banana pudding for you in Tuscaloosa, what you're saying.
Exactly.
Sprague underneath. That's Brown. And Brown will twist and turn and fight for extra yardage to the 1st down. He'll pick up 14. And that'll be inside the 25 or the 24-yard line.
The secondary pretty much dropped back to take Sebastian Smith, and that left 28 wide open. Dorian Brown for that pass right there. I'll tell you, Sprague has something to him. I mean, he's not intimidated by the moment at all.
A little confusion there for Ohio as Heitzman tried to come on the field, and now they're going to have to call a timeout. He came out about 5 steps, turned around and bounced back, and then the whole thing just kind of fell apart. So Ohio's they want to make sure here if they're trying to get back into this game after a 27-0 run pretty much here. This was 14-14 at one point. Saturday on ABC, we've got just a sick doubleheader at 3:30 Eastern. Number 1 ranked Clemson at 8-0, taking on 7-1 and 16th rated FSU, presented by Kay Jewelers. Then Ohio State, number 3 in the college football playoff standings, hosting Minnesota. That'll be in Columbus, presented by Walmart. Both games will be streaming live on Watch ESPN. And let's go back. We dug up a little video here.
What we got here?
Let's see. Guy on the left. Yeah. Who could that be in the Dabo swing pass? Yeah. Good stuff. There with Art Briles and Urban Meyer on the set of Game Day.
Believe it or not, that's the first time I saw that footage.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah, first time.
Not in your dreams or nightmares?
That was funny.
Yes, it was. It's 2nd and long after the loss there.
Dabo sent me a message, too. He said I needed to work a little harder on my moves. He said I was a little stiff in in the hip, so I'm going to have to work
I think
hard.
he is too a little bit too.
Exactly, right?
So if he ever tries to coach a DB to move his hips a little bit, I would tell the DB to tell him, "You too, coach." Going for the end zone right here, and it's going to be incomplete. 3rd down and 15 coming up. Clemson #1, and you got LSU and Bama with a game day crowd. Does his head to Tuscaloosa. Yeah, let's go back and look again.
Let's watch the guy on the right. Who wants to coach the guy on the left? He has to understand, those guys, they're laughing at him, not with him.
Well, guess what?
My guy Dabo, man, I tell you what. They've earned that #1 ranking, though. What a team he's put together. And Deshaun Watson, he needs to start getting more consideration for the Heisman.
That was almost a spectacular catch, but instead, Herman Brunis unable to hang on. Ohio going deep into the depth chart now, realizing this game has gotten difficult for them to win, if not almost impossible. I got an interesting stat you're not going to believe here in a second after we look at this 4th down situation in 14. You know who has more total yards in this game? Ohio.
Really?
345 to 342.
Wow. And they're losing 41 to 14.
Statistician Paul Newman digging up the stat of the night.
If that was like a $100 question, I would have gotten it wrong.
Sprague guns it on the run. That's Reed down at around the 10-yard line. They're going to mark him down at the 11. Sprague can fling it.
He really can. I'm telling you, there's something to the Sprague kid. Now I know why they had packages for him coming to this game. And he, like I say, he's not intimidated by the moment. There's a lot of arm talent. Much better runner than I anticipated, too. Much better runner.
I think everybody, except maybe Sprague, realized that he could not run the football very well, but he has proven everybody wrong. A couple of yards there for Dorian Brown. This is one way to keep the Bowling Green offense off the field. It's been a while since we've seen Matt Johnson in that group. In fact, the last touchdown, think about it, it has been a while.
Yeah.
The last touchdown was a defensive touchdown for the Falcons.
Exactly right, the pick 6 by Denard Turner.
11:38 in the 3rd quarter was the last offensive touchdown, or the last touchdown, period. Sprague on the run. He could take off here. Made one man miss and then kind of fell at about the 5 or the 6 yard line.
Yeah, that wasn't graceful.
No.
The way he fell.
But he gained yards.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I mean, the run was okay, but just the end of the run, the way he fell down. I tell you what, he's out there competing.
Down at the 8 is the official ruling. He fell forward, but his knees hit at the 8 yard line. Bowling Green with some very late substitutions. Very late substitutions. They're going to manage to get him in place, though. They have 11. Sprague guns it. Ooh, my, big hit. And picked up the other way. Incomplete.
You know, if he didn't throw it so high, if he can hit Sawyer right between the 8 and the 4, he had a chance to make a guy miss and score on that play.
Yep.
But he threw it high. By the time he came down, Stevens with a big hit in the back right there, made the ball pop up.
Yeah, you can see the ball hitting the turf before Hardy was able to run with it.
Exactly.
And we have an injured player on the field now, and I think that's Stevens.
Yeah, you're right. It is number 2 Stevens.
That was
the tackle.
A clean blow by Stevens on the receiver, Walker, in the back, causing the incompletion. And Stevens getting some attention now with 4:16 to go in the 3rd. Ohio facing a 4th and 7 here. And this could be, keep an eye on his head and neck area. It's kind of awkward with that weight of the receiver coming down on him a little bit.
Yeah, that's why I believe it is, because he didn't hit the receiver square. His head like went up under the receiver, but the weight of Sawyer coming down on that upper back.
And smacked his head against the turf a little bit too, so this could be, I don't know, there's several possibilities, and hopefully, and this is the best sign ever when you can pop him up off the turf.
Yes, it is.
sophomore from Dwyer High School in where else? South Florida. In this case, West Palm Beach. That's a fine program down there. So Ohio with 4:16 to go. When Stevens gets off the field, we'll be looking at the 16th play of their drive coming up here.
Fourth down. Looks like they're going to go for the field goal. Settle for some points.
Yep, we have not seen a lot of Josiah as Danny today, but we're going to see one right here. 5 out of 7 on the season. This a reasonable 25 yards. Yeah, the idea of putting up a 15-play drive and then getting bupkis, not very palatable to Frank Solich. And the field goal is nailed. So a productive 67-yard drive, 16 plays, and a little over 4.5 minutes puts Ohio on the board, but the pathway to a comeback is littered with ice bags and injuries. 4:12 remaining in our quarter, 41-17, and unfortunately during the break, a cheerleader suffered an injury. One of the Ohio cheerleaders. Quint, do you have any idea? Did you get a look at that?
Dave, I did not see it happen, but I'm here in the end zone.
Quint Kesnick is on the field. He's going to check in, see if maybe he had an angle to that. We don't have it. We didn't see what happened. Quint, go ahead, man.
Dave, I'm starting to see movement from this Ohio male cheerleader who was doing flips in the end zone during that break. Sitting up now, which is a really good sign.
Yes.
There was some question as to movement, and now we're finally starting to see some. You have both training staffs on the field. Typically when we go to break, the cheerleaders will come out, male and female, and the mascots will run through the end zone to entertain fans. And this was a situation where all of a sudden you looked out there and there was still a cheerleader lying on the turf. So you wondered what happened. I was told that it was during, he was doing some gymnastics, and now he is on his feet. So this is a good sign for what looked like there for about 2 or 3 minutes to be a real dire situation.
Well, when we were looking at it, we had our cameras on it, they rolled him over very gently, and that's when I started to get nervous, because we've seen that so many times when 3 or 4 of the trainers and doctors will be so ginger in rolling over an athlete, or in this case a cheerleader. Right. And there's a lot of athleticism involved in cheerleading too, for both the men and the women. And that's when I got a little sick, butterflies, and you go, oh man, I hope this isn't horrible. As it is, it's obviously difficult for this young man. And, for Ohio, it's just even the cheerleaders are getting hurt. And it's not even funny to say that, because they've just had so many injuries, and now you just have somebody trying to entertain people, and he gets nicked up too. So.
Yeah, I got nervous too when I saw the woman drive the cart to the sideline. She was about to take it onto the field with the stretcher, but then one of the trainers said, no, I think he's going to be okay. So she held the cart right there on the sideline, and that's when they were able to roll him over. And then I guess that's when Quint saw the movement, so at least he was able to walk away.
Short kickoff, and a catch by Scott Miller. And Miller will get to the 27-yard line. Celebrating his 10th year, sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kick. Since 2005, Allstate has contributed millions of dollars in scholarship funds. Well, it has been a while since we've seen Matt Johnson. Bowling Green, the team that wants to run 100 plays, has run 38. Ohio has run 74. Some of these statistics do not jive with the score on the board, as you see Dieter making the catch, and he will be knocked out of bounds at the 35-yard line after an 8-yard gain.
They may not be getting the yardage that they're normally accustomed to getting, or the amount of plays, but now Bowling Green has scored over 200 points in their last 2 games. I mean, the last 4 games.
That was the same play.
Yeah.
Exact same play. And that's something Quint mentioned at the top of the show, that if they have success once, they'll go twice. They might go 3 times, which sounds like the Commodores.
Exactly.
First down and 10. I'm sorry. I could not let that sit there. They do not do the third play in a row, but they give it to Travis Green, and he's fighting through some arm tackles, and he will get a first down. Well, these Bowling Green offensive players were itching to get back out there. They had sat for so long. They had put up 27 straight points, not all on offense.
Now the defensive players got into the act with the pick six. And
there's that play again, though. The same out there to Dieter, and he is wrapped up by Layton. And now over 300 yards is Matt Johnson. He has tied the school record for most passing games in a season at 9 and 12 in a career.
Hey, Sean Lewis, the offensive coordinator, told us yesterday, he said, we will wear something out until a defensive unit makes a correction. And that's what we're seeing right now. They don't have any problem running the play, the same exact play, 2, 3, 4 times in one series.
Yeah, Quint, they're doing exactly what they told us they were going to do.
Yeah, repeater plays, and when they're on that left hash, the hash nearest to you guys, it's hard for the other team to sub all the way on the field. The other thing you notice in a team like Texas Tech or Baylor or here with Bowling Green, some of the receivers actually take plays off if they're the offside receivers.
That's the
you're
fourth
right about that.
time, to your point, Quint and Des, that they've gone to that same throw, and guess what? They're 4 for 4 with that play.
Well, how's the old saying going? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
It's very understandable.
Yeah.
That's Coppin, and he's going to be wrestled to the ground after about a 1.5 yard pickup. Darrell Basham, the junior from Rocky Mountain, Virginia. And we found somebody not from Florida in the game. Coming up to the 2-minute mark in this third quarter. Oh, and a big hole for Coppin to the 15, and he's going to be finally dragged down there after an 18-yard burst through the middle. Javon Johnson saving the touchdown. And now an Ohio player is shaken up, and it's Johnson again.
Right now, the offensive line, they're just imposing their will on the front 7 of the Bobcats. And you're talking about an offensive line with 165 combined career starts. I mean, these guys have been playing together for quite some time, and this is what this up-tempo offense is supposed to do to a defense. And you're talking about a defense that has sustained so many injuries. They're already kind of short-handed, so they've played a lot of snaps, not as many snaps as Bowling Green's offense will have liked for them to have played, but still a lot of snaps for them.
Well, the College Game Day gang going to an area they know well, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, for this LSU Crimson Tide matchup. It'll be Reese and Kirk, and of course Des and Coach Corso and all the gang. The Bear will get you for football like nobody else can do Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern on ESPN, and watch ESPN as you watch several Bowling Green offensive linemen, experienced or not, with a false start penalty. And I'll ask you real quick how you see that matchup with Bama and LSU.
Oh, this is a heavyweight matchup. I can't wait to get there and watch this one. You know, the teams
offense, number 67, 5-yard penalty, first down.
The teams are so similar. I mean, you know, all the attention right now is on LSU's running back, Leonard Fournette. He's the front runner for the Heisman, but Derrick Henry for Alabama, I mean, guys don't really want to tackle him. 6'4", about 245, 250 pounds, coming downhill in between the tackles. Just two great running offenses.
And another touchdown for Bowling Green. Roger Lewis continuing to add his numbers, which are spectacular.
Roger Lewis just shows so much confidence in his hands as he plucks that ball out of the air. And he doesn't continue running and at an angle. He stops on the dime, and he goes back to his left just to walk into the end zone. Look at him on the short, skinny post. Stops, switches hands, walks to the end zone. That kid is a talent, averaging 19 yards per catch. That's just insane.
Well, that was a 19-yarder right there.
There you have it.
He's only a sophomore. He had 1,093 yards last year. He already has exceeded that before tonight with 1,112. He picks up 19 on this one, a dozen touchdowns, and 4 for Matt Johnson tonight. So Bowling Green well on their way to a 17th straight Eastern Division win. And who will their challenger be in the West? Yeah, you better hold your ears around that offense, because that cannon is busy. So Lewis tonight, 5 for 5, 92 yards and a touchdown. So that's going to give him over 1,200 receiving yards on the year. He's a sophomore. What is he going to wind up with for his career if this keeps up? Now, Johnson is a redshirt senior, but James Kanapke is a redshirt junior, and he played a lot last year. Almost really, he took over when Johnson got hurt, so it's not as if the cupboard will be completely empty for Bowling Green when they go to next season.
That's an excellent point. You're right. Johnson is just such a competitor out there. He also works with the young guys, too. Talking to the coaches, talking to Sean Lewis, he talked about how Johnson, when he's not practicing, he's always trying to teach the young guys just the nuances of playing the wide receiver position.
He faced a long and arduous rehab after getting hurt in the opener last season, missed the rest of the season with a hip injury. As Ohio will take over in the touchback. A minute and 46 remaining. But Johnson was able to come all the way back, win back his starting position, and it's worked out very well for Bowling Green. He had a couple of wins in Big Ten play, beating Maryland and Purdue. And right now, they're the dominant team in the East. Now, they will start running into some Western Division foes, including next week when they go to Waldo and take on Western Michigan, who plays tomorrow night against Ball State. That'll be fun. And then 2 weeks from tonight, or 13 days from tonight, from 20-some-odd miles away or so, Toledo will be here for a bitter rivalry game.
That's going to be a really good game.
And Toledo's got to shake off what happened to them last night. They were 24th in that playoff standings as Sprague takes a good hit, but he was able to avoid a full-on shot after an 8-yard pickup. Hardy in there on the stop. And Northern Illinois, that was one of the more resilient wins you'll see all season long out of any team in the country.
The Huskies, they have a pretty strong program up there.
Yes, they
do.
Program.
Really good, really strong.
And they've been going through coaches like crazy. Rod Carey has settled that thing down a little bit. Now let's get back down to the field and Quint.
Yeah, Dave.
He was at that game last night, by the way.
Yeah, you know, it's really amazing what Northern Illinois was able to do in that game. 6 straight in the series over Toledo. You lose your quarterback, Drew Hare. You lose your, key slot receiver in Tommy Lee Lewis. And Ryan Graham just comes in and steps up. A mental toughness for that Northern Illinois team. You've seen it firsthand, Dave. They believe and they are tough, and they have made plays in the fourth quarter in that series.
Yeah, that's 6 in a row against Toledo now. And, listen, Toledo's in a fantastic program. That's one of the better teams. The West right now, to be honest, the stronger of the two divisions in the MAC. That kind of thing is cyclical, of course. With Western Michigan rising, Toledo still strong, Northern Illinois strong. Listen, Central Michigan has come on. And they look better this year. Wide open at the top to the 35 to the 30 and into Bowling Green territory. That catch made there by Jared Marhefka. That's a 30-yard pickup.
Sprague is able to hit those balls right down the sideline. Get the ball, a nice little touch over a defender and just drop it right into the bucket. Sprague is, man, I tell you what, the future is bright for the Bobcats offense with Sprague at the quarterback position.
Yeah, he's playing because of an injury suffered earlier to Darius Vick as Malik Irons, number 21, becomes the 4th Ohio running back to carry the football. Vick had been battling a bum ankle and just kind of gave out on him. And he's been icing that ankle down ever since. We've got 3 quarters down and 1 to go, and there is a Bowling Green player shaken up on the play. It looks like Isaiah Lunsford, number 50. Hopefully he's going to be okay. We'll straighten it all out when we get ready for the 4th and final quarter of Wednesday night action. ESPN College Football Primetime presented by Jimmy John's. Wednesday night action from the Doit in Bowling Green. Dave Lamont, Desmond Howard upstairs, Quinn Kesnick on the field. Yeah, that's not a misprint. It is 59 degrees. This is awesome. We don't usually get this kind of weather. If you've tuned in to catch SportsCenter at night, it's on ESPN News right now. We got one more quarter of action for you right now. And it's been a tough night for the Bobcats. We were 14-14 at one point, but they came in banged up on both sides of the ball, and it hasn't gotten any better. As you're taking a look at J.D. Sprague, number 3 at quarterback, replacing the injured Darius Vick. And Sprague has been shifty. Well, as soon as I say that, he took a shot at the 25-yard line, a hard-earned yard.
Yeah, Sprague held onto the ball a little bit too long on that play, made the first 2 would-be tacklers miss. but then he took a big hit at the end of that run. I'll tell you what, this kid, he has some little moxie about him, a little confidence. He makes some throws. I mean, this guy, he's out there competing. I give you that. I give that to him. He's competing. Frank got his guys out there ready to play. It wasn't for all those self-inflicted wounds in the second quarter.
And here comes potentially another one right here. There's a flag and a false start signal coming from across the field. Yeah, for those who are just tuning in, the game did get out of hand.
Offense, number 21.
In the second quarter.
Still third down.
With a ton of penalties. They go back to that drive where they had 2 first downs erased.
Yes.
And an unsportsmanlike conduct called on the quarterback for kicking a Bowling Green play.
It all began when they could not get enough guys on the field for a punt.
Yep.
So they ran a guy off the field, called a timeout, came back on the field, and got the punt blocked. And it was all downhill for the Bobcats from there.
They've also given up a pick 6. Sprague across the field, and that pass is dropped. So it's going to be 4th down and a dozen. Jordan Reed could not hang on. It was a low delivery. Tough throw for Sprague on the run, too, although he has shown a lively right arm.
Yes, he has.
And looks like Josiah Yazdani will get an opportunity here. And this would be about a 46-yarder, close to his season long. He's got, well, the wind that we had about 2.5 hours ago is now just a light breeze, but it's still at the back of the kicker. I think somebody got a hand on that. That's a screaming line drive. It's going to be missed. Felt like I heard a little additional contact besides that being a low kick. So Bowling Green will take over, 13:58 remaining, and they are in charge on their way to a 5-0 start in the MAC East. So we've got plenty of time in the fourth quarter, 13:58 remaining. Bowling Green. Matt Johnson for Heisman. Well, you know what? He's got some pretty gaudy statistics.
Yes, he really does.
And he is still out there. I don't know how much he's going to be slinging it around the yard with a comfortable lead. He'll hand it off to Travis Green instead, and Green will get a couple of yards. His 2nd down and 8. Well, you mentioned Fournette as one candidate.
Yes.
So who else are you looking at?
Oh, wow. Trevon Boykin, the quarterback at TCU, I think he's probably the most dynamic quarterback in the country. I mean, he's played so many different positions while he's been at TCU, and he's played them all extremely well. Wide receiver, running back, and now obviously he's the quarterback of the team. And when you see him out there playing, he has such a command of the offense right now. He's playing at such a high level. I think that Deshaun Watson, the quarterback at Clemson, he was similar to how, to me, Boykin's playing this year a year ago until he sustained that injury, which required surgery.
That was almost another incredible catch there by Derek Dieter, by the way.
Yeah, you know, that's what they're doing right now. You got Johnson throwing the ball up, just giving his guys a chance to make a play, especially a guy like Dieter who's 6'3". But I think Trevon Boykin is another guy who's a very strong candidate right now just because of the way he plays the position. Very dynamic, extremely exciting. I love what he brings to the field.
Well, going to be a great test for Fournette. Going up against Nick Saban's defense. Bowling Green's going to have to punt. Matt Johnson may miss out on a 400-yard night tonight, but I think he'll take the W. Patterson's going to have to hurry and then get out of the way. He decided a little bit late to go after that ball. May not have been able to pick it up. It was a little bit short. So Ohio will take the football back. Get another look at the redshirt junior, J.D. Sprague, leading the Ohio offense.
ESPN College Football is presented by Jimmy John's Freaky Fast Sandwiches.
Here at the Doit, I think the hipster beard trend has officially gotten out of hand.
And Halloween is over.
Yes, yes it is.
That's just,
now, if he undyes that thing, he could do a good mall Santa Claus, perhaps, when he put the suit on him. But 12:54 remaining. Ohio been battling uphill since about the middle of the second quarter, and a nice burst for Dorian Brown, number 28, third-string running back, getting a good gain out to the 38-yard line of 14 yards. Ohio will be heading home, and they only have 6 days. They really now we start condensing a lot of these Tuesday, Wednesday games. They'll be going back to Athens to take on Kent State. pretty good defensive team that Kent State has. Sprague has time, fires it, and a diving grab into Bowling Green territory made by Brunis. Gain at 20. And next up, we mentioned already for Bowling Green, heading off to Kazoo, Kalamazoo, Western Michigan a week from tonight. That'll be fun.
Yeah, well, that'll be a good test for Bowling Green, too. Really good test for them.
And I'm going to go ahead and put a pretty high number on that game because both of the teams could score. Down goes Sprague, sacked back into Ohio territory at the 49-yard line, a loss of 9. Third sack for the Falcons tonight. Trent Green still playing despite this big lead, number 20.
Yeah, he's the most physical player on the team. The guys respect him. He's a quiet leader. They call him the quiet killer. And I guess Brian Ward said, listen, we're not going to let you just sit back there and spray the ball around. We're going to put some pressure on you, Sprague. So they're bringing pressure. Look,
Boy, a lot of it
again.
right there, yep. And Sprague will miss on the pass. Yeah, Ward is a Tony Dungy-style defense, Tampa 2 defense. That most people are familiar with that term, but he's also decided to let the people who are looking ahead see some more aggressive looks.
No, you're right about that. He told us, he said, we're not just a simplistic Tampa 2 that you're used to seeing like Derek Brooks for Tampa run down the middle of the field, or Brian Urlacher for the Bears run down the middle of the field. He said, we will change it up. We will do some different things. He's showing us that right now.
We're down to 19. Sprague looking down to the sticks, and he had it. He had the open receiver that time, Robbie Walker, and just put a little too much on it. So it'll be probably a punt here for Ohio on 4th and long.
Yeah, he threw Robbie what we call a high heater. He had a little smoke on that ball. And Robbie's only about 5'9", so couldn't get up and grab that one.
Bowling Green marching on. Already bowl eligible, on their way to 7-2 and 5-0 in the MAC East, and looking. It's not official yet, but they're really close to making the championship game at Ford Field in Detroit again. Nice punt inside the 20, inside the 15, and inside the 10-yard line. And Bowling Green got off to a good start in September when they tangle with the Big Ten. First they go into College Park and take down the Maryland Terrapins 48-17. In that game, Matt Johnson threw for 6 touchdowns and 491 yards. Now, they leave College Park. 2 weeks later, it's off to Ross-Ade Stadium in Purdue. And they take down the Boilermakers 35-28. The run by Travis Green with 9 seconds to go from 12 yards out. So 2-0 against Big Ten teams. They'll be a great bowl opponent, whatever game they wind up in. And Lewis makes the grab at the 15. He'll fight for a few additional yards.
Really surprised to see Roger Lewis still out there catching balls. This game is well in hand for the Falcons. You would think that you would give a guy like Lewis a rest, because we spoke to Coach Sean Lewis yesterday. He talked about, like, during practice, they like to give these guys a rest because they just take so many snaps during the game, and now he's still got this guy out here running routes. 10 minutes left in the third quarter, 48-17.
Well, they haven't had the number of snaps they normally get. Is one thing I can think of.
Yeah.
Your logic makes complete sense to me. I get it. About you have to be worried about injury.
Exactly.
Particularly when you see what's happened to the other sideline tonight. Roger Lewis now 5 straight 100-yard games. Matt Johnson has had 6 400-yard games this season. And he's not quite there tonight. But he has 342. And listen, if he hooks up with Dieter on that last long pass he tried, he'll get the 400. And he'll pick up a little bit more there as Moore spins in and around and just refused to go down. Ended up with a short gain. It'll be 3rd down and let's call it 5.
Brought in by number 47, Evan Crouch.
Evan Crouch on the tackle.
24-yard line. For the 3rd and 6th Bowling Green.
Moore, another one of the 4 receivers with 40 catches or more coming into the game. Ryan Burbrink, Ronnie Moore, Garrick Dieter, and Roger Lewis. They've gotten their share tonight again. Coppett motions out. Plenty of time for Johnson. Fastball over the middle. First down at the 45-yard line. Moore just sat down there with a catch and a gain of 21. Johnson may indeed get that 400.
Yeah, at this point, the Bobcats defense, they can't get any penetration, no pressure on Johnson. So he has all day to sit back there, read the coverages, and actually just pick who he wants to throw the ball to.
Straight up the middle goes Coppett. He will work his way into Ohio territory with a 7-yard gain, second down and 3. As we're coming up to the 9-minute mark in our game. Travis Doherty in there on the stop, number 50. Ohio missing several key players. Poling at middle linebacker in particular. He may be back next week. Quint telling me before the game, he was talking to Frank Solich about that. We might see Poling back for Ohio. They need him. They have another Ohio player injured, and that looks to be Aaron Macer, number 27.
He came up and laid a big hit on Coppett, but I think he got the brunt of it.
That happens a lot. Macer out of Twinsburg, Ohio, redshirt senior. We'll step aside here in Bowling Green with 8:52 remaining in our game. Saturday on ESPN, 2 Big Ten games for you with 8 teams with perfect records on the line. At 3:30 Eastern, number 9 Iowa battles Indiana, presented by Cars.com, followed by Michigan State, ranked 7th, taking on Nebraska in Lincoln at 7. Presented by Hilton Hotels. Both games also streaming live on Watch ESPN. Iowa has to be considered one of the biggest surprises in the country this year. Still perfect. And off goes Travis Green. Oh, he got a devastating block. Green headed to the end zone, and he will get there.
What an excellent block on the perimeter. That's when you can turn a 12 or 15-yard gain into a long touchdown run. And that's his 3rd tonight.
Yep.
Florida Stick Boy, his 3rd touchdown tonight on the ground. And, man, they keep me on the ground. They're still scoring points. Well above their season average of 44 points a game. 50 points right now. And then what can you do about that?
Travis Green got great blocking all the way around, even downfield. I think that was Robbie Rhodes, number 7, who got off a great block. And through the smoke of the cannon, man, I don't know what their requisition order for ammunition is for that thing, but it's costing Bowling Green a few bucks every time they find the end zone at home, but they do it all the time. Hanging up 55 now. Not all of it on offense. They did have a pick 6 for a touchdown, but they shoot the cannon off for that too.
Exactly. You're right about that.
So Travis Green, 93 on the night. That puts him nearly 700 for the season. Yeah, if you're on cannon detail, you better stuff a lot of cotton in your ears also. And out of that came a really cool smoke ring that drifted out to about the 35-yard line. Look at this.
Oh, wow. It looks fake.
I swear to you, this is not our crew putting together an effect. That is actual smoke ring.
Wow.
Now, I don't know whether somebody's really skilled with that cannon or that was just dumb luck. We're going to, you know what? We're going to give those men and women the credit, and we're going to say that they did it.
I'm with you. Great job down there, guys and girls.
I don't know what was more interesting, the smoke ring or you dancing with your Dabo Sweeney mask on that we showed them. I have to think about that later.
That smoke ring was pretty impressive.
It was, though,
it looks fake.
Another short kickoff, and it's going to be taken by Robbie Walker. He cannot get to the edge. And this has been a tough matchup over the years for Ohio, with Bowling Green just dominating the MAC East division. They have outscored Ohio in the last 3 meetings, 135-30. All right, here's the football playoff rankings. Now we've adjusted them. No more AP top 10 for the rest of the season. And Des mentioned the game day gang will be at LSU, Alabama. Look at the 3 games on ABC. Notre Dame and Pitt. That's not an easy out.
No, it's
for
not.
Notre Dame. No way.
Not.
Pat Narduzzi's done a great job there. Kansas State they're floundering a little bit. Baylor looks good there at that number 6 position. Kansas State's having a tough time settling the quarterback position, having a tough time scoring for Bill Snyder's team.
Tell you what, Bowling Green's defense, they made an adjustment at halftime.
Yep.
I think they're setting the edge a lot better, and they're getting a push up the middle. So they really made they give credit to Coach Brian Ward and his staff. At halftime, they made a really good adjustment that's affected the Bobcats offense. They can't get around the corner.
Sprague, and he will find Sebastian Smith, who's had a good night for the Bobcats. Picks up 11 there. I think that's 10 catches for Smith on the evening.
Yeah, he's been really their go-to guy on the outside, and man, he's giving us just a catching clinic of how to just reach out there and catch the ball with your hands.
That's one of the reasons I like Rob Gronkowski so much, besides all the fun. You know how fundamentally solid that guy is?
Yeah, exactly. No, you're right about that.
Great run here by Irons as he's bouncing around, picks up 10 there. I mean, you always see the highlights. Yeah. His hands are way out there catching the football.
No, you're right about that. Yeah, that's a good point. Great point.
So here's Sebastian Smith on the evening. That was 50 catches on the season.
Showed his vertical on that first play. Great job of keeping his foot in bounds, too, when he came down.
Flag down here. It's been a while since we've had a flag after second quarter, particularly, where a lot of infractions called.
Illegal substitution, defense, 12 men on the field. 5-yard penalty, first down.
And Smith, a junior from Columbus, Ohio, so he'll be back.
I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I would bet that Sebastian could probably dunk a basketball pretty impressively.
6'3" listed.
Yeah, but he had that vertical.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
He can get up.
I think one of the things for Ohio, you just got to get out of here without any more injuries. They've had plenty already. Even one of their cheerleaders got shaken up. And let's get back down into Quentin, who I think has also gotten through the game healthily, thankfully.
You just got to stay away from the cannon.
Yeah, very good idea, man.
Great advice.
Sebastian Smith's a little gimpy. He's going to take a break. But I've been really impressed with that young man in terms of receiver. You look at a Power 5 receiver here in the MAC. Roger Lewis of Bowling Green, same mold. And then last night, Kenny Galladay of Northern Illinois. This league's got some pretty explosive receivers, Des.
No, you're right about that. And you're right. Both guys are Power 5 quality. You know, Smith and Lewis.
And let's not forget Davis, Corey Davis over at Western Michigan, Daniel Braverman at Western Michigan, who have been explosive for this group. Tommy Lee Lewis for Northern Illinois, who got hurt last night.
Yeah.
May be back. There's some talk. Quint was saying he may be back. Another super talented receiver. So it isn't all just the power schools that get the stud players. And they developed them well here in the MAC. And this is an amazing run by Irons, and he will score.
That was very impressive. Just his sheer determination on that run was just obvious and evident. They still got another guy down.
Yeah,
for the Bobcats.
It's one of their offensive linemen back at the 43-yard line. That's 78, Nick Gibbons.
Yeah.
Out of Stone Mountain, Georgia. And that's just a heartbreaking picture.
Yes, it really is. They've sustained such a resilient ball club, too.
And just sort of injury after injury after injury. Even when you have the moment of celebration when Irons makes this incredible individual effort and able to get into the end zone. We're going to take a peek as to whether he stayed in bounds the entire time. And that looked clean. That's clean. It's going to be.
That was questionable.
Yeah, we have not. The referee is not on the headset. Ken Myers is the communicator. Steve Furchanik is the replay official. Both of them experienced in the booth, and as just about everybody that has been on the field heads up to the booth. They have spent plenty of time on the field. Gibbons is up, but now putting weight on both legs. He hopped at first. I'm talking to some former players. Ray Bentley, my partner on weekends, has mentioned sometimes it's the shock that makes it worse than the injury really is.
That's true.
Now, not all the time.
The initial shock. No, he's
yeah,
right
but
about
you know,
that.
we've
Correct.
seen guys bounce
Correct.
up and get back. Now, I can't speak
Right.
for Gibbons' injury, and we really hope he's able to come back tonight or next week. But there is that little bit of initial fear, I guess, might be the word.
Yes, excellent point. That's very true. So we're hoping for the best for Gibbons.
And for Frank Zola, it's just piling up. It's almost unfair what's happening with the Bobcats regarding injuries. But they have to keep playing on. They'd like to be bowl eligible once again. They've been bowl eligible 6 straight years. ESPN College Football presented by Jimmy John tonight. Action on a Wednesday, and it's all joy in Bowling Green as they have taken over what was a close game in the second quarter, and they're blowing out Ohio here 55-24. 5-0 start on the MAC, 6th straight win for the back-to-back MAC East champions, and looking very much like they're going to Tom Amansky this thing and go back-to-back-to-back for the MAC East. Hervé Colby and Scott Miller are hanging out waiting for the kick. This will be Miller. And Miller bouncing off both teams. Getting to the 20. He hit everybody on that. Didn't matter to him. All right, what kind of night has it been for Matt Johnson, Des? Pretty good one, I'd say.
Pretty impressive night for Matt. I see how he has such impressive numbers. I mean, the guy is really mobile, much more mobile than you anticipate. Getting out of pressure situations when they bring blitzes, and then getting the ball into the hands of his playmakers like Ronnie Brown, Roger Lewis, Dieter. Dieter's been a really good target for his tonight. Circus catch by Dieter again. But I tell you, I'm impressed by Matt Johnson. Just a real solid performance by him tonight. Makes all the throws, and of course, his main target, Roger Lewis, on the bang 8 route or a short post.
And he is finished for the night as James Kanapke, number 3, comes in. Travis Green will get a short gain, if maybe a yard.
It's that time of the game, man, to get the starters out and get some other guys in and let them get some reps, some meaningful reps under their belt. So.
And he will leave 2 yards short of reaching 4,000 in his last 10 games. So he'll get over that in his 11th.
Exactly.
Easily. Probably on the first play from scrimmage. What do you think about his pro chances? He's not a tall guy, listed at 6 feet, but he seems to have the ability to mix speeds on his throws.
Right, and he has the, I think he has the arm talent to make most, if not all, the throws. I was really impressed by his savviness in the pocket, ability to get away from pressure, avoid tacklers. You know, he got that hip injury that he sustained a year ago that made him miss most of the season. So I wonder how would he test at the combine, you know, when they start to do different drills and things of that nature. I think his football IQ is still pretty high, especially when you talk to the coaches, how much he watches film. They put a lot on his plate. He can make changes. Look at him.
He can take pictures.
Exactly. Hey.
I don't know. Maybe that's family members who get down there. The Bowling Green, you know what? When it's going good, it's going good. And he has passed for 5 touchdowns in 3 straight games. That streak ended. He was because he had only 4 tonight. But he's 33 on the year.
He doesn't make a lot of mistakes, you know. That's what's very important too. So.
Well, looking ahead, if we project Bowling Green as to winning the East, and they're certainly in command, don't really know how the West is going to turn out. That mixed master is yet to be decided. It's going to be a fantastic MAC championship game. And that was almost an unbelievable catch by Robbie Rhodes with one hand. Because out of the West, you can look at all the teams that are in contention there, and there's 4 of them. And we have a flag down. There may have been interference on that pass.
Pass interference, defense, number 25, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Northern Illinois taking a little bit of control, pushing Toledo in an unfavorable position, but you still have Western Michigan to play Ball State tomorrow. The Western still has to play Toledo and Northern Illinois and Bowling Green. So that's a tough sled for PJ Fleck's crew. Central Michigan is going to get a shot at Toledo. And you wonder how Matt Campbell's team is going to recover from that difficult loss. where they were all of a sudden looking like maybe they were going to crash that group party,
right?
And they take a bad loss.
That was a short tenure up there.
Yeah, it sure was.
Right? The rankings came out at 7 o'clock. By what, about 11 something, they were out of the rankings.
11:30. 11:30 Eastern time. Yep.
So
before the sunset in Honolulu, they were out of it.
That may have been the shortest amount of time any team has spent in the rankings, and the college football playoff rankings.
The good news is we get to watch all of this. That's what's good as this MAC race develops.
Yes, sir.
And a great run here will be just about, in fact, there will be a first down. Fred Copley, the junior from Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
So in the last 4 games, Bowling Green, 62 against UMass, 59 versus Akron, 48 versus Kent State, and 55 tonight. Those are all Eastern Division teams. We'll see what happens when they go to Western Michigan and go in the West next Wednesday night. There will be points in that game.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. This one isn't over. They may score another touchdown here against the Bobcats. They may put 60 up tonight.
Clock running to the 4-minute mark. And they've slowed their pace down a little bit. They've shown their cards. There's nothing more they can do.
Right.
It's an interesting.
They can't just take a knee.
No. But they're not at that Falcon Fest. They're not going to get their 100 plays tonight. But they're going to get a win, and that's what Dino Babers will take. That's a nice throw from Kanapke, caught by Robbie Rhodes inside the 10.
Very nice throw. You know, I think that Matt Campbell will have his Toledo Rockets, back ready for the next game. As disappointing as that loss was, the home loss yesterday to Northern Illinois, I think they'll still be ready in the next game. I mean, he's done a fantastic job to the Toledo Rockets.
Well, another touchdown. That's Teo Redding as Kanapke gets his first touchdown pass of the season.
Guys out there just having a little bit of fun. Some of the young guys now getting some playing experience.
61 to 24. Man. Goes the cannon. Now we'll keep an eye out for the smoke ring.
Yeah, exactly.
Not happening. I'm telling you, that was just a fluke.
That was impressive, though. I gotta admit. And I thought it was like a type of graphic thing you guys do. Type of special effects with the graphics. I like that. Really.
No, the smoke drifting over the field is not taking ring form. But Ohio will get the ball back with 3:26 to go. J.D. Sprague has taken over after the injury to Darius Vick. Just standard smoke right there.
Right.
But a big party in Bowling Green over on Main Street.
I gotta give a lot of credit to the Darius Vick. I mean, he came out here, already had the bad will, the ankle problem, the ankle injury. Ran as hard as he could for as long as he could to help keep his team into this ball game, and it finally gave out on him. But really, really gutty performance by the Bobcats quarterback, Darius Vick, tonight.
Quinn?
Dave, you mentioned it earlier. This is a big step towards Detroit. Big step for this Bowling Green team. This doesn't clinch the MAC East. But the one thing, when we saw the weather this week, there was no doubt, Dave, in my mind, that this team would perform on offense. The biggest question I have with their scheme is weather. Wind, cold, rain, ice that you see in November in MAC games. And I need to see it later this month in some adverse conditions.
Well, we'll see what happens when the weather gets like in Kalamazoo, and if it's weather there's been pretty good too. And obviously Detroit is an indoor game, so that's not going to be an issue when they take on the Western champion, whoever that's going to be. And we mentioned several times that Western Division is completely up for grabs. I want to tell you, after tonight's Clippers-Warriors game, stick around for Sports Center at night. Rams head coach Jeff Fisher is going to join SVP. They'll talk pigskin with this Rams team looking to make their first playoff appearance in over a decade. Sports Center at night tips off right after Clippers-Warriors on ESPN and streaming live on Watch ESPN. And by the way, There's hardly a bigger Maction fan than SVP. He loves Maction.
I was about to say the same exact thing. That's a goal of mine. I get on SVP's show, man. I've seen.
Same here. We can talk Maction all night with that guy.
You know what I mean? They're going to show us some point.
God, give us a little something.
I saw Reese Davis do the show. We had our producer, Lee Fitting. He called in,
did the
show.
So you got to kind of,
I know. I'm just trying to, get a little love from SVP. Can a brother get some love, SVP, please, brother?
I mean, he had to put up with Bowling Green beating his alma mater, the Terps.
Yeah, he wasn't happy about that. You're right.
Scott, we can take this one of two ways, We can play nice or we can play rough.
Exactly.
17-yard pickup there, now down to 2:39, and the clock will be going again here very shortly.
I enjoy his show, though. I think he does a fantastic job.
I miss him on the radio, but I like him at night, too.
I do. I enjoy it.
Greg Wyndham now getting some snaps in at quarterback, number 14, redshirt junior from Tampa. So Ohio, they have got to go literally into damage control with the amount of injuries they had. If they're able to get Poling back to help at middle linebacker, that's going to be a big help for them.
Huge help for them.
Quint texted me before the night began that Poling was out trying to run around a little bit wearing a brace, but they decided not to put him out there. And probably a good thing in the long run because of the game, and you want to keep him around and try to get that 6th win. Receiver open, hit him in the hands, incomplete. That's Ian Dixon, number 2, looking to get his 2nd catch on the year. He was open.
Watching this game and thinking about our conversation yesterday with Coach Babers, you got to wonder, how much longer will they be able to keep him here in Bowling Green?
That's an issue, no doubt.
They're going to come after him, and rightfully so. If I had a job opening, if I was an athletic director or president of the university, I would bring Babers in for a long conversation.
So many openings already, and there will be more to come. And that's an interception. Picked off by Brandon Harris, number 19, and Bowling Green will have a chance to take that lead, as you mentioned, with 1:39 to go if they want to.
I was just thinking the same thing. I hope that they, call the dogs off, take a knee, end this one. Really, really impressive performance by Bowling Green tonight.
Well, they came in. Now they'll run, 2-3 plays here. This will be a season low, though, for them in plays. They've only snapped the ball 66 times tonight. Yeah. It used to be that was a lot.
Exactly.
In today's environment, that's not that many, and it's certainly not for the Falcons.
And they possessed the ball tonight 11 times with 8 touchdowns and only 3 punts.
It'll be their 17th consecutive MAC East win. 6th straight win overall, and the first time since 2003, and they're not going to take a knee, but they run the clock out their own way, that they will start 5-0 in conference play. This was a good program before Dino Babers got here. He made it better. Running the Art Briles style of offense. But he also mentioned some of his other influences. The great Dick Tomey was one that jumped out.
Correct.
Tremendous coach out west. So many have influenced, but Art Briles, he said, was the biggest influence on his career.
Yes, he did. Yep.
June Jones, when he was a graduate assistant, Dino played at Hawaii. June Jones was, teaching him offenses, and he was a GA.
Exactly. He's had some really good coaches that he's been around, and it shows too. It shows with the way he's coaching his team. Not only coaching his team, but coaching his players. I mean, coaching his coaches also, his players and his coaches.
Over 1,100 yards tonight. 86 points. And the waning seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to thank our crew here in Bowling Green, and particularly thank everybody from both schools. Great hospitality in Bowling Green. We've had a blast and look forward to more action somewhere in the MAC next week for us. And that will do it. 62-24. Bowling Green goes to 7-2. Ohio drops to 5-4. For Desmond Howard and our entire crew, for Quinn Kesnick, we thank him as well. 62-24. Now let's send you to the gang at Sports Center in LA. Stan and Neil, take it away.